Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the desperately struggling waters of Dungeons and Dragons. As ever, I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, joined once again by the inestimable Robbie Bellekom, the unenviable Sam Burns, and the unknowable Ellie Sparrow.
Why do I always get the shit ones on these?
Because you're the last one, and
last
we're
time
all
you
three.
did this, I was Ellie the Sparrow.
It's literally because you have the last name alphabetically.
Ellie, you have become our Alan Davis.
Maybe everything's okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's alright.
Well, you flirt with the host as much as he does.
You cannot see down the podcast, but I'm currently making eyes at the host.
That's strange. They're very wide. The eyebrows are doing something curiously wiggly. Oh no, the whole face has gone up. The hands have come into it now. She's
Basically
just rubbing her
being
face in despair. At
a
this
little
point.
gremlin of flirtation.
Okay, so as ever, we're going to give a space now for future us to deliver any special announcements or messages. Hello, this is Future Jason with messages from the grim dark present. In the grim dark present, there is only war. This week on Robbie Watch, you can catch our favourite robot-killing outlaw in Southend, where she will be in Awful Auntie from Wednesday onwards. You can also regularly check our website, Facebook and Twitter for bonus content whenever we put that up. And if you can supply any ammunition, relief soldiers against the current invasion of the robot overlords, that would be appreciated as well. In any case, this is Future Jason calling out. I need to go detonate a supply dump in the hopes of preserving the liberty of mankind. Back to you, past Jason. Everything is terrible. You know, I think they're starting to get a little better at it, Future Us. You know,
Future Us are really going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Robbie's in Hollywood now. Like, I'm really impressed with her.
I mean, not doing anything particularly useful, mainly
Sitting
trespassing.
Yes.
I was going to say, how about those current events, yo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Such importance.
that thing that famous world leader has done.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that
thought welcome
thing.
our robot overlords.
So, with the possible announcements out of the way,
All the awkward silence. We're not sure.
it's time for us to begin Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains, brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear. Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party having successfully delivered their promised letter to the mayor of Pader's March, and sparked off a series of events that led to swift orphaning and adoption, so to speak, of an adorable small child. Attempts were made to stop her maybe escape, maybe abduction, not really clear, but ultimately proved unsuccessful. Corzin was successfully cured of a bout of filth fever, thanks to the party's stealthy actions retrieving a seed pod from the dangerous strangling rose. Fortunately, they were light-footed enough so as not to actually attract the rose's attention until they were upon it, and severing its private parts for their own needs. Whereupon they set sail for the port town of Ballwick's Bay, based off the vision that Celestia had been told of by Olga of a ship with red sails taking down the Saber's fancy. The reason they headed to Ballwick Bay, of course, was that Corzin had a contact there by the name of Lucky Lucia. After a despairing revelation as to the fate of the Saber's fancy, Celestia proceeded to imbibe a very large amount of alcohol and become embroiled in a brief bar fight with a ludicrously insane gnome.
Whose name is Fighty.
Yes. F-I-T-I.
That's all you really need to know.
Yeah. The party then proceeded, one way or another, back into the Stuck Pig, the more questionable tavern in town, heading beneath to the opium den below, where in a private back room they met the slightly serpentine tiefling by the name of Casimir, head of whatever local organisation of thieves and ne'er-do-wells could be found in Ballwick's Bay. After learning a little bit of Corzin's history in the town, Casimir offered to provide an introduction to the network of black markets at which a ship such as what is currently believed to be the Scarlet Wind, the red-sailed ship, would need to sell their cargo at. In exchange, however, Casimir has asked the party's aid in performing a little light burglary the following morning. As we bring ourselves back in, Casimir is preparing to engage in a little discussion of how to plan the proposed heist against what's his name? Here you go. One Jacques Ancre, the harbour master and local cleric, a retired adventurer. However, as mentioned in the previous episode, Celestia drank a lot of alcohol.
An awful lot.
2/3 to 3/4 of a bottle of whiskey. A small bottle, but nevertheless. So, Celestia, let's roll some Constitution saves.
Oh dear.
Okay, so this is your first. Can I ask you for your first Constitution save, please?
Okay. I'm going to use my new dice that Robbie got me.
Ooh. Oh dear.
Shiny.
This is not my fault.
A 16.
That does not succeed.
I had a lot of whiskey.
Can I ask you for your second save, please?
Oh shit. We're doing them all in a row. Fucking
Yes.
hell.
That was a really good roll as well for you.
Oh, that's a 6. Maybe we change dice for the
Okay,
last one.
last one, please.
Oh, I hate all of my dice. Help me. Oh, that's off
That's
the
off the
table.
table.
Doesn't
Off the
count.
table.
Also, it was a 5, so it's lucky it didn't count.
Oh, even
that's
better.
a 2.
Okay, as
Oh, shit.
as you prepare to begin planning the heist, Celestia, you just sort of feel everything kind of. Celestia smacks head first into the table.
Oh no.
I kind of go, so what are we going to do about this robbery then? Just like half a sentence gets out.
Casimir looks at the fallen elf. I get the feeling she has had a bit of a rough night, yes?
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And a tough one at that.
Lucia, do you want to drag her into one of the cots outside? Let her get some rest.
Make sure she doesn't swallow her tongue.
Can that happen? I am never drinking again.
Lucia looks up. Don't worry, I've had a bit of experience in this sort of thing. She bodily picks up the fallen dark elf and slowly drags her out into the adjoining room, where she is slumped onto a cot. Celestia, we will return to you in a little bit of time.
Mostly I will just pass out for a bit. Yep.
Okay, so returning and sitting back down, Casimir makes some explanations. So, I know how I would prepare this if it was with my usual crew, but as mentioned, their temporary incarceration produces some difficulties. As such, I am not so familiar with your group's specialties. Certainly a high tolerance for alcohol, not for one of you, but that won't be a required part of the job. Let's talk a little bit about what we know about Ancre's location. And then I'm willing to hear suggestions you might have, just to get a feel of how you operate. First of all, Ancre's house. It is a large single-story house, all ground floor, as it were. To the best of my knowledge, there is no attic involved. It is of reasonable construction, stone and wood, and again, it has two entrances we know of. There is a front door, and behind there is a kitchen door with access to, well, the kitchen. Also, they do have a cellar entrance next to the kitchen door for bringing various victuals in as required. Ancre is known to enjoy a good drink. Most of the members of the pious will be with Ancre during the festival, keeping an eye on him and keeping an eye on the people. But although we have never successfully managed to get one of those fanatics on our side to serve as a mole, we do know the people who make deliveries to the house. We think it is likely that 8 of members of the pious will stay behind. That's the number that has stayed behind on previous such occasions. Ancre seems to believe this is a comfortable amount. We've never been into the house itself before this point, but I can confirm that there are windows into, it seems, most of the rooms, not the pantry, though I suspect one might be able to get into the cellar through that route. The house itself is surrounded on most sides by garden. Ancre owns the plot surrounding it. The sides, either to the, let us say, east and west of the plot, there is a line of trees separating it off from the houses and their estates on either side. The front backs onto moves directly onto a street with a large iron gate, which has a latch but not a lock, and the back also borders a smaller, less travelled street. In all cases, however, there is a fence, decorative primarily, with some hedging, so no higher than 5 feet along its perimeter. There is also a small ornamental pond, just in case it gives you any ideas. I know sometimes travellers can have interesting little tricks they can play, so it's worth mentioning. What we can tell you as well is the back part of the house's windows are covered with iron grates. These are not designed to be easily opened. I do have some tricks that might allow us to manage to get them open, so long as we with a little bit of filing. But the problem is that would take time, and time will be an important part of this particular job. You see, we have spent a little bit of time looking at the response times and the timing of patrols. During this, Lucia will be serving as lookout. She and I have a couple of useful little tools which allow us to communicate at a distance. Something that we were paid in kind by a maid once upon a time. They still function. It's very useful. So she will all be able to keep in contact with me while we are inside or on the property. She will also be handling the escape, which we have prepared. As I said, this was prepared within mind with our other crew, so we have sufficient supplies. If we manage to emerge without tripping too much notice, Lucia will have a covered wagon, which we will be able to slip beneath the cover of, and she will drive that to a safe house we have prepared deeper in town. If we need to come out fast, she will also have Lucia. You still have 5 horses? Yeah, I got 5. Yeah, so we will have 5 fast horses should we need to race through the streets. You will be informed of where the safe house is before we conduct our business. In either case, once we get to the safe house, there is a few secret tricks I have from there to help us evade capture. Now, the watch patrols fairly regularly in these areas. Only in the front streets, not in the back. They typically come by every 2 minutes. It takes them 30 seconds to cross this length of the street, by which point they move on to another street and will not be seen for another 2 minutes. In the event that watch are called, from experience, it takes around 3 minutes for the watch to arrive after one of them blows their whistles. Or if their whistle is if they are not able to use their whistles and one was sent as a runner, perhaps a little longer. But that's the general response time from what we know. Ancre himself will be a little over 3.5 minutes run or fast jog away from his house where the festival is taking place. Now, fortunately, the pious and the watch do not necessarily get on. So, if one of the pious goes to catch Ancre, it is unlikely that they will also alert the watch. On top of that, Ancre will, at noon precisely, start a series of rituals which are necessary to placate and properly celebrate and respect the spirits. These cannot be interrupted for any reason. They will take a total of 15 minutes. So, we will have a clear window of 12 to 12:15 before Ancre can attempt to return from the festival. If Ancre does return, we will want to get out. He is a very powerful cleric.
Well, it makes sense that we should do it during that 15-minute window.
Exactly.
You mentioned the kitchen door. Could there perhaps be a delivery that needs making that we could disguise ourselves as, I don't know, bakery delivery people or
if you can,
fishermen?
That's certainly possible, yes, if you feel confident. Myself, I am more of a sneak thief than a burglar, but if you, and of course my main line of trade with the smuggling, but if you feel confident pulling a confidence trick, then yes, that's certainly something we could do. If one of you in particular is the most comfortable leading that, then I can happily just trail behind, not speak too much.
I mean, people tend to believe me when I tell them things, but I'm not sure I look like a baker.
No, that's true. I mean, it depends what you can do with, the dark elf is conspicuous in a certain sense, but perhaps if you can talk fast, you might be able to pull it by, if you can think of a good reason.
Also, you can change what you look like.
Not much. No, I've got this hood. I look like I'm a dwarf, aren't I? Yeah, definitely a dwarf.
Make a disguise check. Sorry, deception check.
No, maybe not being too deceptive today. I think that's a 13.
Casimir kind of looks at your word, seems to notice your words and peers at you for a moment. I think maybe you and we have a talk after this, yes?
Usually people leave me when I tell them things.
So,
Usually.
I am a safe cracker. I can pick locks. If we need to get through doors, if we need to try and... when we come to the safe itself, that is my area of specialty. So that is not an area which we'll need to worry about too much. I am not the best toe-to-toe fighter. If someone is distracting me, I can perhaps pull a few dirty tricks, but generally, if it comes to a fight, can you handle yourselves? Or would you...
I've been known to.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. So,
Do you know where actually in this house, this safe you're going to be cracking is?
most likely, yes. We know a little bit about the interior. I don't have a map, but we know from talking to people that, as well as a kitchen and pantry in the cellar, we know that the priest likes to entertain people. So he has quite a set-up dining room, where he also eats meals with the members of his pious. On top of that, the pious have their own barracks and a simple training room, from what we know, within the house itself. Most of them will be out, as I mentioned, at the engaging with the festival, but it is a place where they sleep and eat and practice. We know that he is a collector of some books of interest, and we have heard that he likes to show off trophies from his adventuring days. So likely there may be a trophy room or similar somewhere. And of course he will have a bedroom or study of some sort. I suspect that the safe is most likely to be found either in his study or bedroom or in this trophy room.
We could always jam the lock for the barracks. That'll slow them down if they do wake up.
That's a very good idea.
That would be an effective way, yes.
I can use lockpicks, but I haven't got any.
He looks at you up and down for a moment, reaches down below the desk and pulls open a drawer and removes a small black silk roll. Pulling it open, you can see that there is a full spread of different kinds of picks and skeleton keys. She closes. I am always willing to help a brother out, he says, dropping the roll into your hand. Wimmer, you and I, we have to stick together. It's a hard world. It's important to look after your family. Now then, all right. If you have anything else that you can think of at this point, it may be worth mentioning. Otherwise, I suggest you spend a little bit of the morning. I know a good coffee shop, by the way, for your companion.
Probably be a good idea, actually.
Yeah. He gives you an address. You head there, you get some of the strong stuff. And
what do you recommend?
There is this particular type of Ferocian black. Is a deep roast. Is they call it the Espresso or something. Just get 2 of those.
Right, you are.
Yes, just ask them for a double of those and maybe 2 more, and go from there.
So a quadruple express. Got it.
Yes, quadruple express. So
Could just give her a little zap. That'll wake her up.
That could work as well.
She probably wouldn't thank you for that.
Regardless, I would recommend you spend a little bit of the morning, if you wish, doing a little bit of scoping at yourself, if you want to get a view on the place. Otherwise, we are to meet, and he does produce a map of the town, which you can see is kind of hand drawn. It's there, and there's a lot of notations on it. It's sort of a working map, as it were.
Right.
And he points to where you are now, and points to a specific street near the house. You can see the house is marked with an X. We meet up here at I'd say half an hour after 11th bell. I will have a watch to keep track of precise time. And he produces from his pocket a beautiful and like kind of quite large, because of the technology available, pocket watch. And flipping it open, you can see it's... I don't think the only person who would have seen a watch before would be Corzin. Actually, no, wait. No, Celestia's unconscious. Celestia doesn't see this. Celestia might have done, but Corzin, you recognise what looks like a miniaturised version of like a mariner's timepiece, the type that you would use to cross oceans with. And it's big enough to just fit into the palm of his hand.
That must have cost a pretty penny.
That it is, my friend, which is why I will be holding on to it. But it is very useful for when we need to be precise about time. So, if that is all, my friend, why don't you wait with your dark elf companion? I would like to have a word with the dwarf.
I'm a dwarf.
As you wish. I sort of slink
dwarf.
off and
Shit.
find Celestia.
Lucia comes out with me.
Stranger
She
danger.
gives him a bit of privacy.
I don't go far.
Yeah,
but,
you're just basically
yeah.
just outside the door.
Yeah.
Calcinea looks down at you, and there's this kind of curious smile to his lips. It is okay. In this place, far from prying eyes, we can be who we are.
I'm gonna take my hood down.
Kind of raises his eyebrows. I can see why you would have trouble. I am fortunate, he says, gesturing to his own quite small horns and how his relatively human features. You get the feeling it's quite easy for him to pass as ordinary. Where did you come from, if I may ask?
Scarrel's Cove.
I do not know the community there. What family were you raised by?
I wasn't.
Ah. He seems a little surprised by this. That is misfortunate for you, my friend. If your travels take you to Crosswater, which I suspect they will, given where your party want to go, I would suggest you look for try and find if you can hear anything about the Grimani family.
Grimani.
Yeah, the Grimani family. You might wish to try the Brass Lantern.
Brass Lantern.
It has been a few years since I was in Crosswater, but from what I remember, that is a safe place for us. You can find the Grimani family, if they still own that tavern. They look out for little cousins like yourself.
Thank you.
Some of them even work honest jobs. He gives you a ruffle on the hair. Okay, go be with your friends. You run into trouble. If you ever find yourself back in here when we're not about to commit a crime and need to lay low for a while, come back here. Yeah.
Okay.
Nods and gestures to the door.
Hood back up.
Yeah, hood back up, dwarf beard back
I'm
on.
a dwarf. Tuck the tail back in.
Yep, dwarf mode engaged.
Hide the little hooves.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah.
That's
Lets you
so
leave.
cute.
The door kind of closes behind you, and Celestia.
Oh god. Shit.
Am I even capable of carrying her?
I mean, between us,
How would
probably
that
not.
work?
Probably not.
You can try and rouse her.
It's going to be like Gulliver's Travels with the little
Yeah,
people.
like you can try and like the. I'm gonna say like, if you want, you could try and rouse her. I don't even know what check this would be. Possibly.
How long
Medicine?
am I passed out for? It's like 1d4
Yeah,
hours.
you are blacked out for the next 2 hours.
Oh god.
Well, a shocking
doesn't-
grasp is quite a tempting.
Okay, you can try and make a shocking grasp if you want.
But I could do so much damage.
Very squishy.
Yeah.
I'm also unconscious, so I have no say over this.
Yeah. Could I get? Well, first of all, some just cold water.
Yep. Yeah, there is a jug nearby. Curiously, there is a jug nearby, and it occurs to you that maybe this is a means to get to wake up the various people in their opium sleeps.
Oh, maybe this one
Yeah.
jug of water is full. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going
Right,
to
splash.
slash over. Celestia, make a Constitution check to see if that will
Check or a save?
See if that will wake you up.
Doesn't make a difference.
Oh, that's a 6.
No, you
No.
are well into your alcohol-induced blackout.
This you just sort of goes and rolls over.
You can try something else.
Well, if you try shocking grasp now, you may short circuit.
Yeah, you are unconscious and wet. Lucia,
All right.
folded her arms, looks like, that one's really out of it. How much did she drink?
Best part of a bottle of whiskey in not very much time.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I suppose it's got to be the smooth stuff, hasn't it? You know, the type where you get your eyesight back in 3 days, guaranteed, or your money back.
She looks at you. Did she get the drink from here or the milk? The mermaid's milk.
It was the mermaid's milk.
Yeah.
Oh, then she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I'm going to try a minor illusion and
Okay.
try the sound that those very angry dogs were making when we were not
Okay.
fighting the angry
Roll
dogs.
another Constitution save, please.
God.
Right next to your ear.
Oh, it's a 5. Celestia didn't give a fuck.
Next year, you are passed out cold.
All right,
You're
no,
starting to have
we are going
dreams
to
about
have
being chased by dogs.
we're going to have to try
Not
and
even
carry
dreams.
her up the stairs.
Yeah.
I'm just
good
going to
luck,
very
mate.
quickly try one more
One
minor
more.
illusion.
One more minor illusion.
And the smell of like a really something burning.
Okay,
really
one
badly.
last check to see if you can wake up.
Like a bad fire.
10.
No.
Okay, 10 was the DC.
No way!
Okay, so
Oh!
Celestia, you are not going to remember anything about the next 2 hours.
No.
So you are conscious, but you have all of the judgment you would expect to have while blackout drunk.
Straight step and goes, is there fires? What's happening?
Yes, you're on fire.
Why am I on fire? Celestia like pats herself like she's on fire. What?
You have to put it out by dancing. Quick!
No,
Quick.
everything's spinny. I can't.
Oh.
I'm going to try and attempt to pull her upright.
You've got to walk to this
Okay.
shop or you'll burn to death.
Why are you being so weird?
Make an
It's
athletics
not
check.
working.
Like what?
Corzin, make an athletics check.
Athletics, okay. That is a... Ooh, that's a 24.
Okay,
Bloody hell.
you're a lot smaller than her, but you know a thing or two about leverage.
Yep. I also know about low center of gravity.
Yeah. So with a little bit of careful positioning, you managed to pull the drunken elf upright.
Why are you both so small? What's happening?
We're the same size we've always been. Now you have got to get up these stairs.
But there are 3 of them.
There are
At least.
there are 12 steps.
I'm going to cast Friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really think you should go up the stairs.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh no! Oh no!
Do you have disadvantage against being charmed? So
She's
right,
already
that's
got
the
advantage.
advantage,
So
10.
I mean, it's up to you. Like, does that feel like persuasive enough for drunk Celestia?
why am I going up the stairs? That seems very difficult.
There's more alcohol at the top.
I don't think I need any more alcohol.
There's more alcohol down here. It'll get you if you don't.
Fine, I'm going up the stairs. Shut up. Leave me alone.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Corzin watches this and goes, "Wow, that worked."
Just because. Make a dexterity.
Oh god, this is going to fall down the
Save?
stairs.
Save.
Do I get disadvantage on this because I'm drunk?
Can we assist her?
Yes, you're assisting her, so it cancels out the disadvantage.
Okay, cool.
It's just a straight one.
Alright, that's a 13.
Okay, with Celestia kind of topples a few times, but you manage, both of you trying to steady her from below, you manage to get her up the steps and stagger her out into the stuck pig above. Where do you wish to try and take her?
Oh dear. Where was that shop?
The coffee shop. Yeah, we were given an address. Let's go and try and find it.
It's 11 at night. The coffee shop. It occurs to you that coffee shop might have been recommended as a thing for the morning.
Oh, right, of course. Okay.
Right.
In which case, then, we've got to
Can
find...
we just sleep this off?
Are the stairs finished now?
No,
Yeah,
there's more. Keep walking.
Stairs are finished now. No, let's get her back to the ship. Let's
They're
get her back to the
invisible
ship.
stairs.
Okay.
There'll be some water
Doesn't make
there.
any sense.
I would like... just because of your current position in this town, Corzin, I would like everyone to make stealth checks. Yes, Celestia with a disadvantage.
Oh god.
Right.
Celestia's so stealthy right now.
Natural 20.
Oh, that's a 1.
A 1 and a 20.
That would be an 8.
So that's a total of 24.
Okay, the three...
I'm just going to start singing. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I
don't think that's how it goes.
So you're desperately trying to get her back along the route towards the docks. But the fact is, Scamp, although you are, easily, you aren't too noticeable in the shadows and the dim light from what little light is reflected off the clouds, which isn't much. There aren't that many lanterns out and about. Celestia is singing to wake the dead. She might have lost her talent, but she hasn't lost her belting ability.
And it's time for us to leave them.
Is she at least going the right way?
You are at least pulling her the right way, but you can hear, looking up, I'm going to say the three of you notice there's a pair of
20.
a pair of blue-coated watchmen kind of coming are now approaching from another street, probably to try and put paid to the public disturbance. I'm going to see whether one of them recognises you, Corzin.
Okay.
Sight. They don't seem to recognise you on sight, but they are very much approaching the three of you.
Okay, I'm pulling my tricorn down again.
Yeah.
And I'm whispering to Celestia.
Down, boats, it's time for us to go to bed.
Okay, if you guys aren't making any deliberate effort to run or anything, the two watchmen come up.
Sorry, officer, she's had a bit too much to drink. We're getting her home, sorry.
Alright. Make a persuasion check. They're kind of frowning and looking quite annoyed.
Persuasion, that is a 24.
Alright, on your way. Where are you staying?
On a ship?
Right,
On a
fine,
ship.
fine.
On
Go,
a ship.
go.
Ossifer, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm very nice.
Yeah, I stopped
Sure
pulling
you
her.
are. Yes. On your way.
There is at least one advantage to this, is that nobody's going to be looking at me when there's this going on. I just gesture vaguely in Celestia's direction.
No.
The
it
three
is
of you,
nice.
after some effort, you kind of make your way. You're making your way back towards town, towards the deck. What? The ship. When you're actually making your way just past the Wishing Fish, which you didn't actually go into. The Wishing Fish has I'm going to say a sort of melancholy. has a sort of cheerful sign. It actually has, I think it's a breen on the sign, but painted in very bright colours for a breen and looking very cheerful. It looks kind of hopeful, as if there's a fate awaiting it that doesn't end up being on someone's dinner plate. The doors open and you watch. Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. And as a group of people come out, there is one fellow, not quite like the others. He's dressed in kind of a sober-looking shirt, vest, and trousers, but quite well made. In his 60s, with quite a heavy build. You can see some scars along the side of his face, and his hair done up in a silver ponytail. Just along, and there's a little torchlight outside, providing a little light. Would it be a torch? Actually, I think it. Yeah, it would actually be a torch because gas lights have not yet reached this part of the country. And he is surrounded by four kind of slightly drunken-looking, jovial men and women who are in simple brown clothes but with white armbands tied around their upper arm. And
oh, here we fucking go.
Yeah, and just in the light, I'm actually going to say Celestia and Corzin, you can see just gently swimming through the air behind him is a spirit that's a little more together than a lot of spirits you've seen. It has a very defined looking form, that of a silvery fish-tailed goat. However, one of the figures happens to turn in your direction. And Corzin, you recognise this woman, not by name but by appearance. Kind of short-cut, dirty blonde hair and a face that only a mother could love, possibly after she'd finished beating it. And indeed, it looks like that might have happened to her face at some point. She's got a broken nose. She looks over and happens to lock eyes with you, Corzin, and you recognise her from down below, from a time when she kicked your ribs in. And she goes, "Wait a minute! Oh, over there, you!" And she points to you and starts moving over to investigate. Split second reaction, guys. What do you guys want to do?
Should we run?
Yes,
let's
come
run.
and see me.
No,
I'm a
not you.
celebrity. Yes. Celestia Stardust, nice to meet
Celestia
you.
starts making a scene.
I'm going to try and push her in the
Scamp, you're trying to push her away. Corzin, what do you do?
Okay, I'm going to attempt to hide behind Celestia.
Make a stealth check.
That is an unnatural 20.
Okay. She comes forward. This rough-looking pious woman. She moves forward. Is like, "Hey, where are you? You see a little halfling around here?"
I've seen
Yes, he went that way.
many halflings
Make a
in
deception.
my life. I know loads of halflings.
22.
She looks over. All right, lads. I think I spotted an old friend. This way. She gestures and she looks at you, Celestia. Should be careful of the evils of drink. They'll send you to a bad end. And they all walk off.
You're going to a bad end. Yeah. Take that.
Make an intimidation check.
With disadvantage, actually. That was so intimidating. Ooh. That's actually really intimidating. That's a 17.
She's like, you can see that she's about to, like, she turns back as if she's, like, you can see her fist starting to raise as if she's gonna put paid to this to this drunken sort, and then it seems to clock to her that you're a female drow, on the surface. And she abruptly about faces and strides off.
Yeah, bye, run away.
She literally passes right by you, Corzin, without seeing you.
I was going to say, actually, as Celestia turns around, you will see Corzin kind of latched limpet-like onto her backpack.
You're very heavy. Get off of me.
The
Thank you.
three of you make your way back to the ship and just about manage to get Celestia into her bunk, whereupon Celestia, you pass straight back into dreamless sleep.
Oh.
Better make sure she has enough water.
Yeah.
Good luck getting any water into her at this stage,
Oh, yeah.
mate.
The morning comes.
Oh dear.
Celestia, you are woken up by the harsh rays of sunlight through the porthole. It is the 15th of falling leaves, the day of last harvest. Not last harvest. The day of last harvest festival. And oh god, your head feels like someone has stuffed it with cotton wool. You are in agony. Everything hurts. Is the best way to describe that. Sorry. Yeah, as you wake up, you can see that by this point up to you guys, whether you guys are already awake or not, it's probably about 8 in the morning. You slept straight.
Right.
Celestia lurches up to the top of the ship for a little sick over the side.
Morning!
I was going to say, like, there'd be a flagon of water and a bowl.
Celestia, you have a hangover, so
Yes.
you have one. This counts as one level of exhaustion.
What does that actually
no.
mean?
You have disadvantage
Like, in all
on
seriousness?
ability checks
Shit.
until you can either take a long rest, not under the effects of alcohol, to recover, or unless it is suspended by an effect such as coffee. Although prolonged coffee use has some negative side effects.
So until
A
long
touch of the
rest or
jitters.
coffee.
Yeah.
Awesome. I've written that down. Well, Celestia's feeling really good. Oh god. So what happened yesterday?
We're doing a heist!
Oh yeah. What are we doing?
I don't know.
We've got to go and scope the place out today, but I think the first thing we got to do is find you
Can
some
you be
coffee.
seen? Should you not be seen around there?
Around where, precisely?
The guy's house. The guy who hates you.
Well,
There's a guy
it's
who
going to be no
hates
more
you.
dangerous there than anywhere else on this island.
I'm really good at disguising people.
I have a disguise kit.
Do you?
Yes.
I can use that.
Brilliant. You're good at makeup and things, are you?
Yes!
Great.
Well, I suggested that we pose as people delivering supplies for the kitchens, but that's a conversation we can have after you're at least somewhat back to your normal self.
Yeah, that might be a while. How can we make me look like a kitchen maid? I mean, I'm fairly
sorry.
of drow.
Rather tall one, but yeah, I'm sure we could do it.
I mean, if we covered the skin up and put me in boring clothes, maybe.
How influential are drow? I mean, if you turned up at the door and demanded to see the master of the house, would they just let you in and wait for him?
That's a DM question, actually. In all seriousness. If
I mean, you're not really sure. You know that they do have a lot. You're certainly used to a society where drow are on top of the heap, and you know that you have been treated with a certain amount, certainly in Scarl's Cove, with a certain amount of distance and deference. So it's not inconceivable that someone like you might be at least used to making haughty demands. But you know that they don't, unless they are themselves members of the surface nobility, which is blatantly something that does not happen, all you would have is you would have about as much authority as someone, as say, like a visiting dignitary from another country would.
I mean, I can do a decent job of looking important. I do that quite well. But there aren't... My worry is there aren't many drow in this town. And even if, I disguise myself as a different drow and not me, their search wouldn't be hard, would it?
No.
Everybody's been very surprised to see me around.
What I will say...
Also, I'm not sure how much power I'd actually have, because I don't imagine he knows many.
It is
drow families.
Conceivable that you could try and use some of the makeup in your disguise kit to attempt to pass as, say, a half-elf, like a half-wood elf or something.
Like a normal half-elf.
Or even, you could try and pass as a high elf. It would essentially require you to put on basically white face.
Yeah,
in a sense. Yeah. But if it is a thing you could do. You could try and pass as a high elf.
I could. I mean, I've got the bone structure and stuff.
Yeah.
Haven't I? We could disguise me as a half elf. We could, like I say, buy some dull clothes. I don't own anything dull personally, but I've got money.
That might be something we can get in the town.
Yeah. Surely there'll be clothes shops and that kind of thing.
But what are you going to do then? I mean, what we want is to keep this guy away from this house for as long as possible.
Yeah, but I mean, he's away from the house anyway, isn't he? I seem to remember the 15 minutes comment before...
Yeah, that's long enough to...
blackout happened.
That's about one of the last things you remember before waking up.
Yeah, out of character, I do remember that we said that before I blacked out.
Yeah, no, it was said before you blacked out.
Yeah.
So we've got that 15 minutes. That's enough, isn't it?
Should be
to go in, get a safe and leave. I mean, do we want a distraction for any guards that might be in the house? Do we know what guards are in the house? Like
8.
8 of them, okay. I mean...
possibly more.
What we need is a ruse of some kind that would lure them away. Like maybe if they believed that one of us had stolen... Oh, possibly, yeah.
I mean, do they have... What do they have? Is there a little outbuilding or anything? Can we set that on fire?
Or even just illusion it.
Yeah.
I make the image, you make the smell.
Yeah.
Could work.
Does minor illusion do smells?
I
think it
it's
does.
a separate thing, but you can't do both.
Yeah, because can you do
Yeah,
sound,
it's
sight,
usually
or smell?
one, as it were, sensory plane. If I just double check that for you.
I'm sure I saw a smell somewhere, but I
Minor
now can't
illusion.
see it.
It is a sound
So
or
it's sound or image.
So
Never
technically
mind.
the smell of burning wouldn't have worked. But
No,
I would say
I
you could have
mean-
done the crackling sound of burning.
Fair
This
enough.
might be a bad person's suggestion, but we could just set something on fire.
I'm pretty good at that.
You are. You're very good at that.
I'm not particularly cut up about damaging this man's property, as you can probably appreciate. So, yeah.
How do you know him?
It's a while ago, when I was here last, but as you probably... Well, do you remember anything of what happened on the way back to the boat last night?
I remember my head on the table, and then I remember this morning.
You made friends.
Right, okay.
I didn't
No.
do anything. What did I do? I didn't do anything, did I?
Nothing
just
you
shouted
need
at
to be
you,
concerned
it's
about,
fine.
but we ran into one of those groups of the pious, as they call themselves. And like I said before, they're a bunch of ham-fisted brutes, mainly. And that particular one and I had history, being as she kicked 10 kinds of shit out of me at one point.
I didn't
Why?
like her.
She took a disliking to me.
No,
I
you
was
didn't
not.
do anything.
I was obviously not pious enough for her, but her and her boss there, I decided, needed to be brought down a peg. I didn't do anything violent or harmful. I just happened to help along their own hubris.
I like the sound of this.
Is this the one that went in the water?
He was, yeah.
He went in the
She
water.
had to fish him out.
Did you push him into the sea?
No, I saw the plank on the pontoon, so he fell in the fat git.
Ah. Well done. No, good for you. People shouldn't beat the shit out of people for no reason. That's horrid.
Oh, well, you know how it is. The guy's basically got his own personal militia, and that sort of power goes to somebody's head.
Yeah.
So we burn his house down?
Yeah, they'll do it. I mean, we only need to leave the room with the safe in it, not burned. We just burn everything else.
I prefer that nobody else get injured for him being...
This is actually a fair point. This is something that you would kind of like, those of you who have been in fights in their lives, so less Celestia and more Scamp and Corzin, you are both kind of aware of the unwritten rule of fighting. So long as no one draws a blade or fires a gun, most people, who aren't bloodthirsty pirates, will not try and kill complete strangers, unless someone else, draws a knife first. And especially given that these pyres, from what you've seen, are equipped with blunt weapons. So long as you try and take them down non-lethally, they are probably inclined to do the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So not burning the house.
You've similarly noticed that. Up to you how you proceed in that, but there's just something that you would be aware of.
Yeah.
If you were considering, say, just shooting one on sight. It's an unwritten rule of which you're both very aware of. Drow society doesn't quite work on the same rules necessarily, but yeah, that's something you'd be aware of. Similarly, although the Watch, there's not a strong distinction between the Watch and the local military forces. While the Bluecoats do carry muskets, they also have truncheons.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what Corzin would be thinking is, all right, I'm not above a bit of malicious property damage here, but there are people who I don't have any quarrel with, and they shouldn't get injured or be put in harm's way just because their boss happens to be a
lose
man.
their jobs.
Yeah.
I suppose so. What about I like the fire idea. What about if we don't set the house on fire? What if is there a little outbuilding? Are there trees nearby we could set on fire?
The trees are rows of trees. That's gonna spread.
I've got it.
Uh-huh.
He's a priest, or at least he pretends to be. So,
Yes.
let's expose him for the hypocrite that he is.
What do you mean?
Well, he's a priest, and he lives in a very large house with a number of servants and even more henchmen. He lives more comfortably than a person in his position really ought to if they're following the tenets of their faith. So, if we can expose him for the gourmand that he is, or show that he's been squirreling away things that don't necessarily belong to him, then I think that'll do enough for his reputation.
How do we do that, though?
Do we really care about his reputation? Don't we just... We just need a safe.
Yeah, well, that's the primary thing.
I guess while we're in there, if we see anything we can use.
Yeah.
I don't think people will really care, though. They know what he's like.
They do, but I think that the main reason why the watch doesn't come down on him is because they know that the second they do, they're going to have a fight on their hands. So, if we can do something that means that him and his cronies are just banged to rights, then there's nothing they can do. Unless they want to be the ones who start the fight.
I mean, that's all very well, but we still need to find a way to get in order to do that.
Yeah. Well, I reckon that your setting fire to stuff is good. Is there an outhouse to the place, maybe?
We didn't mention one. We can go have a look.
You can always go and have a look.
Let's go and look.
But maybe
This is a good point, however. Yeah, if you like, because logically, although Casimir didn't mention one, there must be somewhere that the guy takes a shit.
He's not going to have one of those wretched indoor things.
So, the first of all, the party you take a bit of a detour to a small shop with one of those covered sort of frilly stands outside against rain and sun. There's a few tables that are out, and this time of the morning, there's even a couple of there's one individual outside drinking a cup of noxious black substance. And sort of appreciating the bright sunny day, the twittering birds. They're just like, it's like clanging bells in your ears, Celestia. the sunlight is bad enough normally.
Yeah, like I've got my sunglasses
Yeah,
on.
the sunglasses on. You're just pulling them right against your eyes, like shading them as well.
Oh god. Coffee.
Yeah, you are.
I'll just go up to the counter and just go, coffee, please.
Would Celestia have had coffee before?
Oh shit, would she? That's the point.
Roll me a luck check. I want to see.
Okay.
You might.
I can always go back on that last 5 seconds.
Yeah, the possibility has. But you've certainly heard of coffee.
13?
You've had it once.
Okay, cool.
And like you had a small cup once.
But like, would I know enough to demand coffee when I'm hungover, or like?
You would know that they brought you to a cafe. Like you know why you're here. Yeah, you've heard of it as a hangover cure.
So I'm going to stick with that.
And the sort of the slender waif-like halfling woman behind the counter looks at your sunglasses and goes, right away. She turns around and the pair of you guide Celestia down to a seat, and she goes, will that be for all three of you?
What is it?
Might as well. Yeah, alright, and make it a quadruple express. That
You
one
want
of them.
a quadruple? Right, for that,
yes,
that's alright then.
please.
I'll do a single black for each of you. And she proceeds to, quite slowly, because the steam coffee maker has not yet been invented. She has, however, already got a pot on the boil, as it were. Takes it off the boil for a few minutes and proceeds to make coffee from ground beans. And she sets 2 small cups in front of Corzin and Scamp, and 1 cup which is the same size in front of Celestia. But whereas the cups in front of Scamp and Corzin are sort of like a dark brown, Celestia, your cup is black as the midnight sky.
Wow.
You can smell it like very strongly without even touching it, and it is the scent of wakefulness.
Okay, is it just getting a visual here? Is she having like a regular cup size of coffee, and like perspective wise, Scamp and I have one of those big, huge grande type things?
Yeah, like basically no. Well, from your perspective, yes, you're right. Both your grandes.
Oh my god, if this was like a film, they would be doing so much complex like mug sizes to get us all looking the size that we
We'd have had
actually
to build
are.
the cafe in 2 different sizes. Yeah, like Lord of the Rings. It is, as these things go, and Corzin, you have had a coffee or 2 in your time. This is good coffee.
Celestia just
nice
like
and rich
downs
and-
hers and just waits, head in hands, for it to take effect.
Oh wow, yeah, it is bit like you've had coffee before and that was like a nice richly textured thing, and this is still richly textured, but it's also concentrated. It's like wakefulness burning down your throat.
It's sort of sludgy. Is it that strong?
Yeah. It's quite hot, so you're like and over the next 5 minutes, while the other two are probably sipping their coffee.
Oh no, I'm
you
looking at it suspiciously.
Looking at it suspiciously. Corzin is sipping his coffee.
What is this?
You start to feel just it's not that the aching in your head goes away. It's just that this horrible alertness kind of supplants it.
It's like I'm still tired, but it's on top.
You're still tired. You're still hungover, but for a time, it overcomes it until your next short rest.
Right.
Exhaustion effects are suspended for you.
Brilliant. A question, actually, a mechanics
Yeah.
question. I've had drunk sleep. Does that count as a long rest? I've not reset
No.
my hit points. I didn't think it did.
No.
Cool.
Doesn't count as a long rest.
Oh,
Actually,
goody.
that's the point. I would have had a long rest. So
You have had a long rest, yes.
Could I roll to regain hit points then?
I will. Yes.
Long rest, you just get all of them.
Yeah, long rest is
You
just
just
full on,
you
then,
just
I
get all of
Oh, okay. In which case, yeah, I'm back to full.
However, I will say, in the interests of mercy and the fact that you just had a quadruple espresso, you gain 3 temporary hit points until your next short rest.
Ah,
Brilliant.
Slightly ameliorate the hit points you lost fighting.
lovely.
Oh, is that everybody or just her?
No, just her, because she's having the really strong one.
Right. Okay.
I'm just going to gently stick my tongue in the coffee and go, no, what is that? What is it?
It's coffee. It makes
No.
you awake.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gross.
From what you recall, it's very
Ah.
stylish.
I pour some sugar into theirs and stir it. Goes, try it now.
No. There. There.
You sure? That's expensive stuff.
It'll look.
But it tastes awful.
It'll make you feel good.
At which point, the barista does actually return with the bill, which is it's 12 silver pieces.
I'll pay.
Can I have some milk, please?
She looks down, slightly confused at the dwarf asking for the milk, and decides, well, I suppose coffee is not really the dwarven treat. I'll get you some milk.
Yeah, thank you.
Gets you a cup of milk.
How much for the milk?
Don't worry about it. It's just milk.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So it wasn't. Oh, they haven't progressed to putting actual milk in coffee yet.
Yeah, you had all of them black.
Right.
We knew mine was, but
Yeah. Okay, so newly awake.
feeling kind of terrible.
Those of you inclined to finish your coffee, or you finish your milk. And by this point, it's probably like 9:30, 9:30. So you've got plenty. Actually, 9:00. And as you head towards the marked house, there is a festival air. The town is waking up. People are. There are actually street vendors and stalls, and people are coming out and enjoying the bright sunny day. The aforementioned twittering birds, which are a little bit less horrified to you now.
Yeah.
And there are there's generally a positive atmosphere. It's a holy day, so it's also a holiday. People get the day off work.
It's the worst place in the world for a hungover person
It
to
is
be.
the worst place. Yes, there are even a few minstrels playing loud instruments.
Oh god. Celestia just sort of looks down and.
I am going to say actually, Celestia and Corzin, make a perception check.
Okay.
9.
Oh, that's at 12.
Okay. So with that 12, as you're looking over the celebratory sort of atmosphere, there's a few minstrels playing. There's actually a small band of them together, and you can see just over them there is flitting around this. It's not a clear formed spirit. It's more like a swath of colour, but it doesn't blink in and out of existence so much as the ones around, say, Celestia and Corzin. It just looks like a ribbon of rainbow light, but not like a single rainbow in a ribbon, but rather it flashes between different colours, and it's just cycling around above the musicians playing.
Oh, that's quite fun.
Would I have any idea what this is that I'm looking at?
Make a religion check, I guess.
Alright. 11.
Okay. Yeah, this is it's a spirit, and you'd guess it's it's not. It doesn't seem to be a particularly religious spirit based on how it seems to be presenting itself. It's just a minor spirit, but that's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more together than the very minor spirits that are following you around, and which just seems to be looking for a good time.
Aww.
And yeah, this seems to be what's taken its interest. But very much a free spirit.
Aww.
Very cute.
So you proceed on past it, and looking back, I'm actually going to say, yeah, you see it for a time. It circles briefly around near the party and then departs away for a time to return to the ongoing music. Heading over towards the house, you're able to get a bit of a look on it. And how close do you want to get? Because as I said, there's a street in the front and a street in the back, towards the back. You can choose which street to approach through and how close you want to get. You could if you wanted, look from right at the end of the street where you can kind of get a close, like a distant view, or you could try to get closer.
I mean, like, how on a street is it? Would it be weird if we walked past?
It wouldn't be weird if you walked... it would not be too weird if you walked past the main street, so the street at the front of the house.
Yeah.
The back street is a little more deserted. It's more of a tradesman's street. It's where it backs onto other houses essentially, or rather other plots, because this is in quite a nice area of town, and a lot of the houses here, although few of them are two-story, like a lot of them do have gardens. And this seems to be where a lot of the wealth of the town is based in. But yeah, you could walk along the front street without it being out of character. There are a few people wandering by with the festival. The festival itself is happening further into town, but
How about we just walk past and
Yeah, let's try that
see what
first.
we see first?
I'm just going to say, yeah, as you walk past around the front, I'm going to ask you for perceptions checks just to see what you notice.
Alright.
It's a 1, not natural, but it's a 1 nonetheless.
2.
Oh, good.
So, Corzin.
That is a 13.
God. Somewhat over 10.
Celestia, you are too hungover to really notice anything. Scamp, you're too worried about Celestia to pick up a lot beyond the obvious.
Vomit. Do not vomit.
Yeah. Corzin, you
might vomit.
Don't vomit. Do not vomit.
Corzin, looking at the front, you can see that, yeah, there is a cheerful sort... the distant band changes tune for a moment there. So, looking at the place from the outside, you can see that there is... it's a low wall by the standard of walls. It's about 5 foot high. It's less of a wall designed to keep out intruders by its height and more to indicate this is my property. It's built from brick, but it is also hedged in... there's some hedges in places. In other places it's just straight brick wall. On the front you can see there is a large iron gate, wide enough that you could fit a cart through it if you wanted. And again, it's wrought iron. It's built for appearance. So there's a lot of curlicues and other sort of effects in it. The gate itself is latched and leads to a straight pathway leading up through the grassy sort of area towards the main door of the house. Before I go into the house itself, you can see from the front that there's a smaller back gate, iron gate, at the far end to the west of the plot. The plot is south facing on its front. The front door is south facing. The two east and western sides, the whole thing is kind of wider at the back, like a trapezoid. Yeah, trapezoid. And the two east and western sides are flanked by rows of cypress trees, creating quite a nice sort of effect, but also again marking this is my space, privacy.
Right.
The walls are again next to the cypress trees, like on the outside edge of them, so as to mark this is my space. There is an ornamental pond in the northeastern corner by the back wall, and it is fairly large. It's surrounded by all manner of shrubbery and interesting bushes and so on. Small and high enough that someone like you could conceivably hide in one if you needed to, Corzin.
Okay, that's useful to know.
Yeah. As you're walking past, you kind of time your walk to try and get as much information as you can. The front of the house is there's a lot of windows actually. Like this is quite a nice house someone has spent on glass. They're not like full length windows. That it's not that extravagant, but there are reasonably sized like sort of 2 foot by 3 foot glass windows.
Okay.
And as you're walking past, you can see that they are on all sides of the house that you can see, so both east, west, and south sides. Although you can just see that the back 2 windows, the ones on the northmost side, on the east and west. The back 2 windows on the western side have iron grates, like again decorative iron grating over them. And the back 3 on the eastern side have decorative iron grating on them of some sort. So again, these look like windows that if they're meant to be opened, they would be opened inwards rather than outwards, where the grates are.
All right.
You can't quite see where the latches are on the windows. You're not getting close enough to look. You can see the main doors, not the back door. Presumably it's at the back where you can't see it. You do make a note that there are 3 chimneys, 2, both by the walls. 2 on the western side, evenly spaced, and 1 on the eastern side towards the back, towards the north. You can also see 4 figures. 2 of them, all of them members of the pious, in the same sort of brown, rough, simple brown clothes, but with white armbands. 2 of them are standing by the main doorway, keeping a light watch. They are both armed with quarterstaves, just simple lengths of wood that they could use as staffs. There is also another 2 that you watch performing a lazy patrol around the house. These ones seem to... You spot that at their belts they have slings and pouches of what are presumably full of lead bullets or stones. And they both have long sort of workman's hammers that could be used as weapons. You're kind of making you make your walk past as slow and nonchalant as you can make it, but I'm going to say, Corzin, make an intelligence check.
All right. That's 16.
Okay, you count in your head as they're walking, and you make it just slow enough that you glance back as you're on the other side of the street, and it looks like it takes them around 90 seconds to get one complete circuit to return to the same place they were when you first saw them.
All right. What colour are the leaves on the trees at the back?
At the back, we are in late autumn, so brief moment where DM checks whether cypresses are deciduous or
the things you check for D&D, like it gets weird
because I actually cannot remember.
I feel like
it's the 15th of falling leaves now, isn't it?
Yes, it is the 15th of falling leaves. They
keep track of the date.
They're a pine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So the trees are green, and the shrubbery would be mostly green as well. I think because they're shrubs. They don't really die off too badly.
I was thinking
there's a few brown ones as well. Like it's a sort of there's a couple of those really nice like coppery plants.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a big one of those as well.
I
sort of reddish
subtly point these out to Scamp and I say, Scamp, how flammable do they look to you?
Pretty flammable.
Are we talking the shrubbery?
Yeah, the shrubbery, the trees, anything. Because it's not the building. It's, close enough it's going to attract people's attention.
Scamp wouldn't know that. Pines are pretty flammable, but I don't think Scamp would know that.
Make a nature check.
Why would Scamp know? Oh, that's cocked. 2. Scamp doesn't know.
It's a tree. You
Yeah.
guess trees are flammable.
Pine sap is so flammable. Scamp doesn't know anything.
Thank you for informing the Dungeon Master of the flammability of pine sap, however.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
This episode is going to weird places,
Yeah.
guys. Well, pine sap is very flammable.
I'm pretty sure it is.
How did we end up here?
I might be totally wrong.
This is the coffee episode.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are there any more checks you want to do before you or prep?
I mean, I'd like to see around the back. I don't know about
Yeah,
you two.
I want to too.
Okay, it's going to be a little. If you want
Oh
to
yeah, no, it's flammable.
If you want to walk around the back, I'm going to need either a stealth check or a deception check to pass nonchalantly because there's less reason for people to be going around the back streets if you want to proceed down it.
Stealth in my case.
I'm going to be deceptive.
Okay, do all three of you want to make the walk?
Celestia's going to be deceptive as well. If that's
Okay, all
right.
three of you walking. Cool.
Ooh,
19.
Natural
20.
20.
Yep.
Oh.
Really boring natural 20. I always roll it on things like walking past a building. I get a natural 20.
You're deceiving as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
And,
22.
Okay, yeah. Corzin, you actually take the opportunity to make use of the climbing crit and move along some convenient roofs tops nearby, just like keeping completely out of sight. The pair of you just kind of go for an idle stroll, and just because of your bearing and manner, no one bats an eyelid. So,
having very casual conversation.
perception
The
checks
tree's nice
from all
today.
three of you, please.
No, I'm enjoying myself too much to see anything. That's a 3.
Ah, that's a 5 from Celestia.
Corzin?
We're too embroiled in our
Really
fake
enjoying
conversation.
We've developed our characters.
Yeah.
We're working out the backstory.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Exciting.
16.
Okay, Corzin at least is on the ball.
I've named you something like Emily, and I'm talking about how ill your mother is, or something like that.
I'm still using my deep dwarf voice. Yes, I am Emily.
Looking
How is
from,
this working? How is this a natural 20 check? That's ridiculous.
From the back there, Corzin, you observe the in terms of new information you gain. The back the back of the apart from the parts already mentioned, like the back garden area is fairly straightforward. There is a path leading from the gate to the back door. The back door is at the westmost, like northwest corner on the northern side. It seems to be a simple wooden door, not as impressive as the two front doors. It is flanked on either side by two small windows. Actually, no, about the same size as the other windows, so like 2 foot by 3 foot glass windows. Both of them barred. There is a gap about I'm going to say 15 feet long, 15 to 20 feet wide, where it's just bare wall, and then there is another small barred window, a smaller gap of around between 5 to 10 feet, and then two last windows on the northern side, so stretching all the way to the eastern edge, and those are barred as well. Every window on the north side is barred. There is a quite an obvious gap at one point. There is also one other guard that you can see. Was that 16?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say because of that, you just catch a view through one of the windows. So
Alright.
one of the Pius is at the back door, wielding a quarterstave, just keeping a solitary watch, making sure no one sneaks up to the back door. Yes, there is also by the kitchen back door, right in front of the blank space of wall, a heavy-looking hatch. Basically the type that you'd get for the steps leading down to a beer cellar.
Ah,
Okay.
right, okay.
With a large iron ring on it. There is one member of the pious with his white armband standing watch out there, and you can just see through the window into the kitchen, which appears to be the back door. You can just see that there is a member of the pious in there, apparently washing up from the morning's breakfast.
All right.
Yeah, that, and by the time it rolls around to 12, it will likely be lunchtime.
Okay.
That's, I'm going to say, all the information you gain. When you cut down off the rooftop and meet the other two, you are very disappointed to learn that they were just too wrapped up in their characters.
Yeah. So so what did you see? I saw that there's a cellar access, and there's possibly another couple of guards, and they're just finishing up breakfast right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a back door.
And breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast happened.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get out of this alleyway before someone asks what we're doing here.
Okay.
Would I have noticed that there was only one guard at the back, at least, or not?
Although I'm sure you've both got watertight alibis, haven't you?
Yeah,
Everybody's
from what
having
you
a very
saw of these
bad
the patrolling pious
My
and the guy on
mother.
the back door just didn't notice them at all.
What did you see? Anything useful?
Yeah, I think Corzin already described this.
Yeah. The access hatch could be a good thing. That was outside the building, yeah?
Yeah. But how do we get up to it without being seen?
Okay, there's only one guard at the back door, so if we do a distraction like a fire or something and then leg it round and get in the access hatch, might not be a bad shout.
It means we have no element of surprise. They'll be on alert from
True.
the go.
I mean,
Well, if we set fire to the trees or the shrubbery, they'll all be out there with buckets of water trying to douse it in case the building catches alight. In the confusion, could we not slip in through the kitchen door or down the basement access?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. If we cause enough
Possibly.
chaos.
It depends how smart they are.
They're not very smart, I can tell you that from
Because if it was me,
bitter
I wouldn't send
experience.
everyone out to look at what's going on. I'd be waiting for someone to come in the back door.
Well, at least get rid of some of them.
Was there anyone round the sides of the house?
You did not see anyone on permanent guard around the sides. That seems to be rather the purpose of the circular patrol.
And a couple of the windows weren't barred.
None of the front windows are barred. None of the windows, and about half of the windows on the eastern side and most of the windows on the western side weren't barred.
I could get through one of them. You maybe, but Celestia certainly not.
Yeah, are they too small
I
for
would
me?
say, yeah, looking at the size of them, Corzin, maybe Scamp could get through with an acrobatics check if they wanted to try and fit through the iron bars.
Well, the ones without bars, though.
Oh, the ones without bars. No, you could each get through.
We can
so
all get
it's
through.
2 foot by 3 foot. So Celestia,
Yeah, that's easy,
it would be
yeah.
a slightly harder athletics or acrobatics check. It'd be slightly harder.
Yeah, but I'm quite skinny.
But you're actually quite skinny as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't be that. It's certainly doable. Yeah.
Okay, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, you could fit your shoulders through, which is the important part.
Would we need a distraction for that, or would we just slip in?
I mean, ideally, we get in without being seen at all. In and out without anyone knowing has got to be the best option.
That would be great.
Because if we have to fight anyone, I don't really do non-lethal.
Don't you have sleep?
Nope.
Oh.
Thing is, if we need to distract somebody,
I mean, what I will say is that you can, as it were, aim your. You can do shocking grasp non-lethally.
Okay.
Definitely.
Non-lethal fire.
Fire
that's
is more
gonna
a
work.
case of you could of where you aim it. You can essentially try and kneecapping
You can aim
someone.
to wound, not kill.
You can aim to wound rather than killing. Is the idea? You can try and knock someone out. Knock someone.
mean,
a
they'd
bit
still
and then have
have
someone
like
knock them out.
burns, wouldn't
Yeah,
they?
they'll still have burns. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I'm going to say, you
just
can
imagine them,
subdue with
like,
fire.
Lightly smouldering on the
Yeah.
floor.
You can essentially try and wipe them out from the pain.
I guess Chromatic Orb has thunder damage, might be non-lethal.
Yeah.
Acid is not exactly
Acid
non-lethal.
probably not. I would say
Poison
cold. I would allow
would-
cold. I would allow cold or maybe poison. I actually would allow
Can it
poison.
do-
I would allow poison if we flavoured this as like a knockout poison.
Okay.
I mean, I've only got one spell in me because apparently alcohol sleep isn't like real sleep, so I only have
Well,
one.
what time of day
left.
is it? Go to bed.
No,
Go
you-
to bed.
Did you use any spells the previous evening?
I used them. I've got them down.
Well, because you didn't use any during the bar time. Because you've slept. You
I
rested.
slept before that.
Yeah, you rested on the trip to Ballwick's Bay. You had a long rest during that time.
Oh, I've not.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that
So you got
down.
your spells
Cool.
back.
Oh,
You
I've
just
got spells.
you just haven't got the hit points that Fighty took from you.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got things I can charm people. If
Oh,
any
that
of them
works.
see us.
That's very useful, actually.
Why don't we
Yeah.
just use that on the guy at the back door? Get in, get out.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we're not seen by the guys going round and round. But
I suppose it might not work.
All right.
If it
So
doesn't
here,
work, then whisk.
yeah,
no. Here's an idea, right?
I think charming people is a good backup. I don't think it's how we
Okay.
should get in. What do you guys think?
Well, if we go with the plan to set alight to some of the trees and the shrubs, then anyone who's left to guard the place, we can use your ability to charm them. And
Yeah, that could
even
work.
if that fails, we've only got one person or fewer people to deal with than we otherwise would.
Yeah, I think you have a point with that one.
What's the general reaction to fire here? If something's on fire, does everyone come out to try and put it out?
Okay,
there a
question
organised-
for the DM.
I guess Corzin make an insight check. I guess for the past time for the previous time you spent in town.
Insight, okay, but I
Yeah,
do
let's
have a
call it
question
that.
for you in addition.
Oh yes.
Okay, that's total of 8.
It's hard to say. You do know that at least the pious are supposed to consider themselves responsible, but
Right.
it could go either way. What was the question you had?
The question was, how many of the buildings here are largely wooden?
Ooh,
Very good question,
the
actually.
most like this, yeah. They're like, actually, it's wood and stone for the most part. Like it's varied construction. This area is nice, but not so nice that it'd be entire stone. There's quite a few brick buildings as well, so it really very much varies. I will say that there is a gap between the cypress trees and the next houses on either side. They have their own gardens.
Okay.
Right.
Do they have their own guards? Did we see?
No, they do not. These people, the people owning these houses, apparently trust to regular watch patrols and or don't have their own personal militia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
And
So we could go in through someone else's garden.
I will say that you did actually pass a watch patrol while going on the front way, and yeah, you can attest that they do seem to have a cycle of like 2.5 minutes roughly. So it takes them 30 seconds to cross the street, and they reappear every 2 minutes.
okay, so what if we did a fire on one side, went through the window on the other side, so we weren't going through any back doors, which is where you're quite right, they'd expect us to go. Also no guards to be dealing with, because there's not the guard who would be on the back door regardless of whether he'd moved or not. That might cover us, maybe?
We then got to get to the right room, which is not the room we can go into, because that's definitely the one with the bars on it.
Well, once we're inside, it's a lot easier to move around.
Not
Yeah, and I
necessarily.
can charm
We
people
don't
in
know
our
how-
way.
We don't know how many people, we don't know how many locks.
You've got lockpicks.
And the other guy said he can do it.
Yeah.
He also said he had an escape plan, which I'm
Yeah.
really counting on.
Yeah, no, he's the others fill you in on the details of that, and you can see there is via the back street, although there is a way to reach it from the front street as well. There is an adjoining alleyway where the escape wagon will be parked, and if you're using a hot,
You've got a getaway
yeah,
car.
you've got a getaway vehicle, and if that doesn't work, then the alleyway next to it, Lucia will be waiting with 5 horses saddled for you to try and escape via hoof.
Okay. So what do we think of this fire popping around the side? Charm anyone in our way plan.
Sounds like the best thing we've got so far.
Yeah. Because we can't know everything about the inside of the building. We've got to be prepared to improvise a bit.
Yeah.
When I was looking through the window earlier, did the person who was clearing up from breakfast look like they were in a dining room?
No, they looked like they were in essentially quite a busy, not busy in the sense of people working in it, but busy in the sense of having a lot of things, kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looked like
on the upper floor. Interesting. Okay.
No, there's only one floor. It's all.
Oh, I see.
It's all single story.
It's a bungalow.
The
Alright.
oldie bungalow.
This
Somehow
guy
single-story house just sounds better, doesn't it?
This guy had a lot of land space. Like he didn't there was no need to build a second floor. He could just do it all on one floor. So why wouldn't you?
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
In which case, then, we are probably going to want to, go in on the opposite side to that, because that will be where there'll be the largest number of people working.
That's the back, though, isn't it? We don't want to go in the front.
Oh, I was talking the 2 sides we could use.
Yeah,
have
that's
fire
right.
on one side,
Yeah.
like actual side, not back or front. And then round the
And
other
the
side we could go in.
Is the kitchen all of the back, or just the side of the back?
You would guess that unless the kitchen is massive, it's probably just it's probably in that corner
So
where the
set
door
the
is.
fire that side.
Yeah.
Go in the other side.
And,
The kitchen door is the only door as well on the back, worth mentioning, but there are also windows, as mentioned.
yeah. I think this could work. There's things that could go wrong, but I think maybe we can get through them.
Do we want a fire, or do we want an explosion?
Can you do
Fire
an
is going to be a
explosion?
lot more long-lasting.
Well, you've got gunpowder.
True.
That's going to bring everybody and his mother for the next 500
Yeah, that'll bring
meters.
the whole town out, not just the house.
Yeah.
A fire could maybe happen if somebody was careless. An explosion is definitely like the oldie terrorism.
A tree doesn't just catch fire. That's the
True,
thing.
true.
All right.
Well, so let's run this by Casimir.
Yeah, let's talk to Casimir. Also, I might buy some boring clothes for this.
Yeah.
Celestia says in her silver trousers and her purple
Yes.
David Bowie-esque shirt. Might get a cloak and some dull trousers and things.
Okay. Apart from shopping for clothes, is there any other preparations you want to make before you meet with Casimir?
I think. Well, is this what happening at night? I'd go and buy clothes that were black and nondescript.
I might
but
just get a cloak. Just throw it over the top would be fine, would it?
Yeah, I think for those of
I
us
just
who
want
don't
to cover
have
my face, really,
Yeah.
because there are no drow here.
Mm.
So if I'm walking around, they'll immediately know it's me.
Actually, yeah, something that would be able to cover our face in would be good.
Well, you've got the disguise kit. I can
Oh,
I
can you
can
do
try.
something?
I can try.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I hand Scamp the little purple box full of disguise things.
Okay, you say while
Toys.
before you put this on, we'll just do this quickly. You did spot a tailor's like a sort of general clothes type shop, and as you make your way towards the centre of town, there's a fair bit of business at the moment with people at the festival, and you're able to move in. You can see there is a short, fat-looking halfling woman, probably in her late 90s, so sort of late middle age for a halfling. Who is busy, calmly calmly folding cloth as you come in. Oh, hello there. Oh.
Hello. Do you have a cloak? Just a standard,
Just a standard...
normal people cloak, yes.
You're one of Fighty's customers, aren't you?
What? I've met
Fighty,
him.
this one's for you. And through a beaded curtain, sans the bright red coat and the hat, still wearing a wearing a white shirt, black trousers, a brilliant purple cummerbund, with a sort of bronzish sort of vest and kind of fiery looking silk cravat. The form of Fighty Gubbins-Wick, no worse for wear, drinkings wise, emerges, and you can see that he has tucked into the cummerbund various scissors, pins, and similar.
Oh god, I don't like the look of him with pins and shit.
He's like,
This guy is metrosexual as hell.
Ah, I see. You're looking for some clothes, then, are you?
Yeah. Hi.
I can see some fantastic things I could do with you.
I just want a cloak, just a cloak, like a normal person cloak. But
that is a crying shame. I can see so many things we could do with you.
I mean, talk to me. What can you do with me?
I'm just thinking like there's a lot we could do with crushed velvet, and then I can see some silks and.
I'm so here for that. You punched me in the face yesterday. This is a bit of a curveball. Like, are we good now?
Oh yes, absolutely. He reaches out his hand and sort of clasps it with you. It's quite a strong shake. Name's Fighty Gubbins-Wick. I'm a tailor.
Celestia Stardust. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I like your name. It fits your personality very well.
Oh, thank you. I like your clothes.
I'm afraid I'm actually just closing up shop. Heather here has been hosting me for some time, and I'm about to take to the road again. But when I've got some stock and materials in, we should definitely talk about some clothing.
I could commission you for an outfit.
Well, maybe. I'm looking to head broadly cross-waterways soon, so it depends when I leave town.
We're going there too. I'll catch up with you there.
Really? That's quite interesting.
Do you have a boring cloak just for today?
Heather, this one's for you. Okay. She reaches around and produces...
Poor Heather.
Produces a dull brown cloak. It's just a very ordinary-looking hooded cloak. It's about the right size for you. That'll be 2 silver pieces, please.
Thank you, Heather.
She takes the 2 silver pieces. Fighty claps Heather on the back. She kind of shakes a little. Right. I'm going to go see if there's anyone serving alcohol.
Great.
How good on Heather.
Is this what you do every evening?
It's not evening yet, but evening too, yeah. I sew, I stitch, I fight, I drink. It's a good life.
Simple pleasures. Hooray!
I know, right?
Yeah, do some sketches and I'll see you.
By the way, I don't suppose any of you have ever fought an ogre, have you?
No, thankfully.
No, you have not.
Okay.
Okay, if you ever do, cut its hands off and send them to me. I've been looking to make a pair of ogre gauntlets sometime.
Right,
have a good day. And he scuffles off out of the shop.
Well, we've got a cloak now. Shall we?
Corzin sort of blinks stupidly after that and goes, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Heather
I
nods.
think it did.
That just happened. That happens a lot with him.
You don't think we could persuade him to go and start some trouble up at the celebrations, do you?
He's just walking down the streets if you want to try and catch him.
We could persuade him to start trouble at the side of the house. Fighty!
Turns around. Yes!
Walks
back. What can I do for you, Celestia Stardust?
Oh, you remembered. Thank you. Do you feel like starting a fight in a specific location by any chance? We could compensate you.
With alcohol?
Yeah.
Now you're talking my language. He says, pointing at Scamp. Right. When do you need it and where?
Okay. 12 o'clock.
Sharp.
12 o'clock sharp. So you've got to be on time.
Okay.
And by, oh my god, what's his name? I'm literally having like a mental block out of character.
What's the street?
You know the street and you name the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we name the street.
Walker Street.
Yeah, by Jacques Walker.
Okay, well that's exists.
That's now canon.
It's so detailed, and just occasionally something slips through the net.
I'm actually going to write that down, so it's Walker Street. Yeah, that's the front street, Walker Street.
Walker Street.
So we tell him to save, like, on this side of the house. We tell him which side of the house we want it on, what time.
Okay, so you want him to start a fight on Walkwater Street. Okay.
But like round the correct side of the house.
Okay, so was it the east or the west side you're looking to start the fight on?
The side that has the
side
kitchen on.
Okay, so that'd be the western side. Okay, so he's going to...
And if he can involve the bias, that would be lovely.
Oh, so you want me to start a fight with those guys?
Yeah.
How would you feel about that?
They were very rude to us.
They're not very nice men.
They don't like alcohol. Who doesn't like alcohol?
Idiots.
I'll need 2 bottles of brandy.
Okay.
Cool.
1 to drink and 1 to throw.
Right. Fantastic. Any
I'm sure we could
particular
furnish you with that.
type of brandy you like?
I mean, for the drinking, if you can stretch to it, we'll take an Orcus XO. For the throwing, any cheap stuff will do.
Great.
And I'm going to say he drags you over to a cellar, and it's going to cost you 3 gold.
Okay. Celestia actually sends somebody else in with the 3. I'd like Celestia's like, I will pay, but I can't go anywhere near alcohol smells right now.
All right, I'll do it.
He slaps you. He can't actually reach your. He slaps you on the knee as the sort of as the socially appropriate point to slap someone, the equivalent of the shoulder if you were 3 foot tall. Because he doesn't want to slap you on the thigh.
Yeah, or the arse.
Yeah,
that'd be a little bit awkward.
So slaps you on the knee companionably.
I imagine he's really strong. I imagine Celestia kind of like, oh, like does a little, like nearly falls over, and she sort of pats him on. She bends down a really long way, and pats him on the shoulder. Yeah, you drink the brandy.
And yeah, you see he takes the 2 bottles. Right, that gives me a bit of time to do some preparation. Need to work out what I want to wear.
Yeah, as loud as you possibly can, if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great.
Loud, I can do. Flashy as well?
Yeah,
Yes!
why not?
Alright, let's cause some trouble.
I see no flaw in this plan.
Okay. And with
I
that
see
level of,
one flaw. His name is Fighty.
with that level of preparation completed, I'm going to call it our break.
I like this much better than the fire.
So do I.
We'll return in, a subjective amount of time
Okay.
for the heist itself.
Brilliant.
See you all, or you can all hear us after the break.
Hello, it's me, Olga Grisselguns. If you want to help me, then you under no circumstances should like and subscribe to Flintlocks and Fireballs. That would be terrible. I absolutely encourage you not to do that.
And welcome back. Alright, so at half an hour after 11th bell, you wait for Calcinea and Lucia, both of whom arrive promptly in the appointed alleyway a few streets away. Lucia, you can see, has already brought the cart around and informs you that the horses are suitably hitched up and waiting should we need to take this the quick way. If we don't, I'll just come back later and pick them up. But if not, it's better to have them for a fast escape.
Doesn't hurt.
And we've disguised you, or attempted to.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
disguising me.
Can I have you? Yes, can I have you make a This is it would be advantage with the disguise kit, but disadvantage because you're because of a change of race. So I'm going to call this a straight deception check.
Deception rather than disguise kits is that not like a tool?
Oh yeah, that's true. You are proficient in it. So I guess this would be.
What's it based on?
This might be intelligence based.
Oh shit!
Or it could be Dex to see how
Dex
well
or
you can do
intelligence,
it.
I would say.
Yeah, maybe Dex.
Yeah. I'd say pick whichever of the two is better for you.
Well, that's dexterity.
Yeah,
Scamp's so intelligent.
because there is a certain degree of grace involved in applying this.
Okay, that's so proficiency and dexterity. That's a 19.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, right. You don't know if it would hold up against prolonged scrutiny, but you with concealing robe, concealing cloak.
I've like drawn the cloak around.
Yeah, with a
me, so it's
concealing
over
cloak
everything.
and long sleeve clothes and so on underneath. You make Celestia into a almost kind of disconcerting looking high elf. Your hair is still.
I'm gonna try and smooth it down into like a French plait sort of situation, like
so
braid it to my head.
Yeah, so it's much less visible, and in any case, the cloak will cover it with it down.
Yeah,
like that.
just so it's not the.
Yeah, because normally you have the
characteristic
full Bowie.
bouffant. Yeah.
So you take the time to bind
hair
it
is
down.
toned down. Yeah.
It's a very strange look for Celestia. But yeah, this curious high elf now.
Okay, how do I look? Do I look boring?
Different.
Tedious.
Tedious. Good. I like that.
Big
That's good.
word. I like that word.
Okay. You as you're looking over your handiwork, Casimir and Lucia have arrived. Lucia informs you about the horses. Casimir tells you. So, have you gathered anything more from your morning excursions?
We have a distraction.
Okay,
In place.
we're playing a distraction route.
Yeah. We have a very, very distracting man who is helping us out. He's going to start a fight on which side was it out of character?
On the south side, so the main street, which is Walker Street.
Is it southwest?
Sorry, it's the south. It is the southwest side, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we
Like
wanted
it's
him-
the
we
southern
wanted
street
side.
on the western side.
Yeah, on the southern street on the west hand side, he's going to create some havoc for us.
Alright.
So we were thinking we could perhaps creep in through a window around the other side while that's going on. Hopefully the guards will move. He's going to try and rile them up a little bit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, if this continues as planned, that should be something. I can see how that should get us at least through the back or the sides. All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll be looking to go through with the windows. Are you looking to go through one of the grilled windows or one of the open ones?
Open, I think, is probably going to be easiest because most of us won't get through otherwise.
Yeah, maybe Corzin would, but not the rest of us. So we were hoping for one of the side windows because they don't have
Alright.
grills on them.
So, bearing in mind all of the north side windows are barred, then you're looking to go in. If you've set it at the southwest, the distraction, you're planning to go in through the eastern windows.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
plan. Like the furthest back one of those.
Yeah.
I
That
feel.
isn't barred because some of them are.
that isn't barred. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right then. Looking into that then. Okay then.
Going through the garden next
And you
door.
can see Casimir is actually looking a little different today. He's wearing brown sort of tweed workman's clothes. He has a cap pulled over his head to hide his horns, and just about once every 60 seconds his eyes flicker for a moment before returning to a human green.
Well, that is
circle.
high maintenance, isn't it?
Yeah, just has to recast it every
Recast
60
that every
seconds.
60
Yeah.
seconds. That's a lot of concentrating, like in a day. Wow. Sorry.
Cantrip.
Yeah.
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 So
It's
he
a
can
cantrip,
keep,
but still,
he
you have
can
to
keep
do
it up,
something
but it does
every
mean every minute
like,
he's got
oof.
to blink for a moment if he's in polite company, as it were, in company where he doesn't want to be revealed. And yeah, he's got gloves on, and you notice just out of habit when he talks in public, he doesn't open his mouth so much, so his tongue is not easily visible.
Interesting.
So he is, at the moment, indistinguishable from an ordinary human.
Fun.
So, Lucia is dressed exactly the same as the previous night. Sailor's vest. Yeah, she's
Chilling.
Yeah, she will be. She goes. Right. So, do you want me watching from? Where do you think it's going to be best for me? Do you want me to watch from the back or the front? Given that you guys are approaching from the back, I'm inclined to watch from the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds sensible.
All right, I'll be keeping an
See
eye
if
on
anyone's coming in after us.
Also, once things go down, do what you can to make sure people stay there. Out of our way.
that. Let's see what I can do. She pulls aside her the lapel of her sailor's vest, and you can see there is a curious little brooch there. It looks like it's made out of woven copper, spun into a very strange sort of arcane glyph, with one end poking out. And Casimir, seeing her do this, pulls up at his lapel and there's a matching one.
Cool.
This is, as I mentioned, this is the device which will allow me to keep allow Lucia to inform us of what is going on outside while we are within. He also pulls out the clock, and you can see it's keeping an accurate count of time as you're waiting down. So, you settle down and settle into a wait. 12 seconds, actually slightly more than 12 seconds, because the bells are actually once every 2 seconds. So, 24 seconds before 12, you hear from in the distance the first bong, bong, and continuing on with it, ending on the 12th bell. As you
hoping
make
you do all of them.
Yeah.
We just have to sit and listen to
Yeah.
them.
I wonder what the fight is going to do.
Okay. You kind of
That would be
watching.
nice.
You got a vantage point from the alleyway. The four of you are waiting in, and as by the fourth gong, you can see this figure approaching down Walker Street. Okay, here's what I've got to roll a d6 to see what stage something is on. You're lucky.
Oh,
Okay.
That's worrying.
I hate that, the DM rolling something and going, well, you're lucky this time. It's horrifying from behind a screen.
What were we lucky about?
Help!
I must
Never
know.
So, okay, that's fine. I know when that is coming. So, you see this small figure approach.
Robbie has an actual eye twitch because secrets.
Almost only a handful of seconds after the most recent watch patrol has left view. This figure approaches, and you can see this the small figure of Fighty Gubbenswick with a forest green waistcoat, a deep purple coat with trousers, so yeah, quite dark purples, dark greens,
fucking love
and a
him.
matching and a swooping back purple hat. He has sort of rich brown fingerless gloves on, brown knee boots with silver boot buckles on
Oh my
them.
god.
He's
You see
basically
the-
Pirate Joker right now.
Yeah. Oh my god, it is! I didn't even think about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, thrust into his broad belt, there is a black. There is a sort of dark wooden cane with a silver bear's head on the top, and you can see he's got one hand kind of hanging behind his back a little bit, and the other hand in front of him as he's sort of stumbling a little bit forwards, like moving between with half a sort of drunken stumble and half a kind of broad step. And in front of him, he has the bottle of Orcus XO there, and he's swinging from it. And you hear him kind of singing, "Oh, actually, I've got to sing this as Fighty, so Fighty knows, right? Oh, damn them all! I was told we'd comb the seas for Syrian gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Oh, top of the morning to you all. It's an absolute pleasure to see such fine pious ladies and gentlemen." You can see the two pious on patrol have now kind of come round and they look over and go, yeah, piss off. Like, oh, come now. And he raises the brandy. Are you sure I couldn't possibly entreat you to a nip of brandy with me? It's good stuff. It's Orcus, it's the real good stuff. Can I not persuade you to take a bit of a break from your piousness? Yeah. Look, no, we said piss off. Maybe this brandy's not for your taste. And he pulls the brandy to one side and produces the hand behind his back, which has the much cheaper bottle of brandy, into which is shoved a rag, which is on fire. Perhaps you'd like this instead, and hurls it at the southwestern cypress tree.
Oh
Brilliant.
my
It
god.
shatters, and the tree immediately bursts into flames with all the fury of flaming pine sap.
Now, hurry, quick in!
And as you're desperately kind of rustling forward, you hear him cry out, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough!"
Oh my god. I mean, I think Fighty did a better distraction than we could probably ever do, actually.
I'm going to roll and see how many of these guys rush for Fighty. Okay.
Let's make sure the guys around the back aren't going out.
Is it possible to give the DM inspiration? That was brilliant.
That was brilliant. If I could give you inspiration, I totally would.
Okay, yeah. So 3 of them are going to go off. I'm going to say one of the front. Okay, let's just make this a straight up luck check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're in luck. The 2 front guards, it's hard to see from your location, but like from the ones that you saw run past, the 2 guards at the front seem to be holding their position, but the 2 patrol guards and the guy at the back are freaking out, and they are now just running. The guy at the back is running out with his staff. The other 2 are kind of brandishing their hammers, and they're all kind of running to get the gate open and go for fighting. I'm going to say this whole distraction has taken 30 seconds up.
Okay,
So
good.
it's
30 seconds out of 15
it's
minutes.
12. So it's 12.
As soon as the guy from the back goes past, we should...
Yeah, the
Yeah.
moment it
Yeah.
goes past. Okay, I'm going to ask you
Stealthily.
to make a stealth check, please. This is they are very much with disadvantage to perceive.
Everyone stealth.
So they get disadvantage, but we don't get
No.
advantage. Do you want everybody? Yeah, do you want
Yeah,
everyone?
everyone needs to make.
I'm just going to check what this is. Okay, it's on the...
Oh, natural 20, bitches.
Nice.
Well, I've rolled something, but this is a really hard to read dice. I think it's a 19. Is that a 19? It's not 9, so it must be the
problem with
19.
overly elaborate dice.
Yep, the 9's next to it, so that's a 19.
So that's a 23.
This is the weirdest fucking dice I have ever seen in my life. Where did you get this? Jesus Christ.
Well, I could advertise the shop.
Oh, that's true, actually.
That's true.
It's
Yes.
not.
So if they'd like to.
Yeah,
Yeah, if they shop, and you know who you are, shop, that sold her this die.
How would they know who they are?
Yeah.
Shop who sells fancy
Corzin,
dice.
what was your stealth check, Corzin?
That was 13.
13. Okay. So yeah, the other 2 are kind of rushing forwards like shadows. You and Casimir actually proceed a little bit more ungainly. I'm going to say just it's easy enough for most of you to jump the fence at the back. Corzin is the only one who needs to make an athletics check.
All right.
Because he's
Or
so
he-
short.
Yes.
He is at least somewhat athletic.
Oh yeah, but he did actually roll
Oh.
a 22.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
pole
Vault
vault
it.
over essentially. Yeah, you just vault over. Boom. Because you know where it was, you narrowly avoid. None of you go into the pond.
Tally ho!
Okay, so you're rushing towards. You can see that the back so the whole back of the house is currently unguarded. The eastern side is currently unguarded. There's no there's no obvious perspective from the people out front now dealing with fighting. I'm going to say because the distance, this probably took another 20 seconds. So we're at 0050. Okay, where do you guys want to try and make an approach through one of the back entrances, the door or the cellar, or do you want to go around the side through one of the less guarded windows?
I think side through a not barred window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you make your way up to the barred window. I'm going to ask which of you approaches the window first. Do any of you want to rush to the window first, or are you going to let Casimir get there
I
first?
sort of want to check it's not trapped.
Yes.
So maybe Casimir should do that.
Yeah, I trust.
Who's good
Either
at that?
Casimir or you. I think.
I'm not very intelligent.
I was thinking of picking the locks and stuff, but a window probably wouldn't have a lock, would it? So
even if it is, we need to know that it's trapped first.
Celestia's not perceptive.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Would it be investigation?
It would be
or perception?
investigation.
Yeah, I'm not very intelligent.
Okay, Corzin can make this check if you wish, and because Casimir is assisting you, I'll give you advantage.
Perception. Okay.
Investigation.
Oh, investigation. Sorry. Right.
You're really good at investigation.
Nope.
Oh.
That was not very good. That was a 5.
Okay.
Ah, shit.
For some reason I thought that Corzin was actually the best at investigation in the party.
No.
I've got a modifier of 1.
Perception, yes.
I've got 2.
Actually, yeah, no, all of you have terrible passive investigation. I can see looking at
I've
this.
got a modifier of 2, so it's not very good.
Yeah, in any case, like
Scamp's not very
it's
bright.
easy enough to find that the window is it is latched from the inside. It's currently a bit steamed up, curiously enough, so you can't really see very clearly into it, perhaps due to the quality of the glass. But it looks like there's some sort of there's furniture inside of some sort you can't really make out, but it's not directly in front of the window. The latch is on the inside, so here's the thing: you kind of have a bit of a dilemma unless you can come up with a third way. The fast way will involve just breaking the window. Because the latch is on the inside. The slow way will involve using your thieves' tools to try and cut a small hole and lift the latch.
Like how slow?
Like possibly up to a minute, depending on how you roll. The thing is, if you fail checks on these, the price is time.
Yeah.
Can we see anyone inside?
Not with the investigation check you did.
No.
That
it's
wouldn't
too
be a
steamed up.
perception check for someone to look in.
Okay, yeah, make a perception check. Make a perception check.
All right.
Who and maybe
Whoever wants to.
Still terrible. That would be 7 total.
It's just completely steamed up.
Right, well, let's. I'm guessing thieves' tools is probably better.
Yeah, probably better than
Okay.
breaking a window.
You have proficiency in thieves' tools,
Yeah.
so I will. Again, with Casimir assisting, because it's better for players to make rolls than NPCs.
it's more
I'm going to give
interesting.
you advantage.
Oh shit! Oh no! 13.
Okay, 13. The windows.
It's dexterity based, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's fine. I'm just checking the window things. Okay, that's fine. So is that? Sorry, was that 60?
13.
13. Okay, it takes a while, but you get it done in in about 45 seconds.
Okay.
So by the time that's done,
This time thing is stressful, isn't it?
yeah.
What time are we at now?
You're at 1:35,
Okay.
and you can hear from the front now the sounds of punching, fighting, manic, high-pitched, gnomish laughter. Oh, come now, you call that a hit! And you can hear the sounds of thudding. Were you able to spot out front? You get the fear. You hear at one point the sound of the other Orcus bottle crashing, and you can hear the sounds of the pine tree crackling merrily away. Fighty has indeed provided a distraction, but with the glass cutter and the thieves' tools kit, you quickly manage to cut a very tiny hole, push in one of the long tools, and flip the latch. The window pulls open. I'm going to ask. You're currently in front of it, so Scamp, I need you and only you to make an initiative check, please, for reaction speed.
This is upsetting.
Oh, 13.
No, that was an 18. So as you pull the steamed window open, you can see inside there is the open space and heavy bunks of a barracks. You can see that the barracks chairs, there's like multiple bunk beds stacked along the walls, and in the centre there are sort of straw dummies for practice. And you can see that there are actually a pair of the pious there who are busy like practicing their quarterstaff fighting.
God, this is the worst room we could go
just
into.
as you they spin round at the sound of the window opening before you can clock and try to hide, and they spot you. So I'm going to say
shit.
everyone needs to make an initiative roll, please.
So new initiative roll or keep the same one?
New one, please.
Cool.
Okay,
Ooh, that's better.
that is a 17.
17.
10.
We always do this. We have the same decks as well. We're going to need another D20 battle.
7.
Natural 1. So you go first.
Okay, so
it's probably good because
So
you're
Scamp
out the window.
17, Celestia 17.
But after Scamp,
Yeah,
because
after Scamp, what was your one, Corzin?
10.
Okay.
I can't believe how often we roll the same initiative in this campaign.
Yeah.
It's happened like 4 times at this point, and we've only done 5 episodes. It's mental.
Highest.
Charm person's only one person, isn't it? At this sort of level.
Okay, it's a good thing that you guys have higher. I'm just going to say it. The Pyres also rolled 17, but they do not have a dexterity modifier. So, Casimir is a little faster than, well, actually, a fair bit faster than Corzin, so that's all right. Okay, so that makes it Scamp. You are able to react first.
Are they outwardly hostile?
They're not outwardly hostile. They seem surprised. This could turn at any moment. They are both armed, but that seems to be more a fact of their practicing.
Would cast friends. And try to persuade them
On both of them?
I don't know actually.
Let me check.
Can I?
I'm not sure you
No,
can.
just one. I can't do it at a higher level, can I? Because it's a
yeah.
cantrip.
Because it's a cantrip, so...
Then I will cast friends on one of them, and I'm going to try and persuade them to go outside.
Okay, this is... I'm gonna ask you to say what you say first, please.
What's the guy's name?
You
The house.
It was Jacques Ancre.
Ancre?
Ancre.
Ancre.
Yeah. This is it.
Ancre's being attacked out front! Everyone's needed! Quick!
Deception check then, with advantage, because that is just about believable under the circumstances.
That is a 25.
Oh, yeah!
Okay, I'm going to roll an insight check just for the hell of it, but I dropped that doesn't count. Yeah! They look around, and just now you can hear, you just hear muffled through the windows, but now a lot clearer now that you've opened one. Oh, come on! Right, alright, do you enjoy the brass knuckles? And the pair of them, just like the one who cast friends on, place goes, "Oh fuck!" and immediately rushes out the door that's on the far side of the room. The other one, I'm going to ask you to make deception again without disadvantage to see whether this guy believes you.
Okay.
Without advantage.
No.
Can I use Tides of Chaos
Yes.
to give myself the advantage? Okay, that's a 21.
That's almost a natural one, so that's good.
Okay, you like as you can see, this guy is about
This
to
is
waver,
important.
and you just pull on the threads of fate.
Come on.
You know you're going to pay for this later, but yeah, he just goes looking between the pair of you. Fuck, and then
Because the backup
runs
plan
after
was
them.
set fire to the dummy. Because that would go up.
Yep.
So I'm super glad that
Okay, the pair of them have run out of
I'm climbing in the window.
Have run out of the room. Yeah, Scamp. Yeah, I'm going to say quick athletics checks for Scamp, and I'll say after that. First, after one person's in, you
athletics.
can pull the rest.
Yeah.
Oh shit, why am I going first? That's an 11.
Oh, babe.
Okay, I'm going to say it takes time. So it takes you another 15 seconds to get in. By the time you've gotten in, you then start pulling. It takes you, I'm going to say, another 10 seconds. Actually, there's only one. You open another window because there you can get access to the others, and with that, you're able to get in everyone in about 10 seconds.
Shutting the windows behind us.
Yes.
You shut the windows behind you. At this point, as you're getting in, it's now looking at Casimir's watch. It's now I'm going to say 10 seconds past 2 minutes 10 seconds. You can just hear from the you can just hear from the little badge on Casimir's lapel. Boss, we've got the watch coming down the street. They're probably going to interfere with whatever that gnome's doing.
Okay, we.
Yeah.
Quick, hurry.
Right.
Shit.
Okay.
Do we hear this?
Yeah, you all hear this. I'm going to
Right.
say that Casimir has set this to be audible.
I say,
Any-
delay them as much as you can.
Are there any of the white armbands around that they wear?
Make a quick investigation check.
10? No, 12.
You
not the
pull
person to do
open...
Just while everyone else is
yeah,
climbing in the windows.
there are small personal belongings chests at the bottom of the bunk beds, and you just pull a couple open at random until you find... there's I'm going to say after opening a few of them, there's about 4 armbands you can easily get hold of for everyone.
Okay.
Right.
Although you guys aren't wearing the... with the exception maybe of the cloak, most of you aren't wearing the sober robes, so it's not a perfect
I've got
disguise.
the cloak,
But yeah,
yeah,
you've got
dwarf cloak.
armbands.
Well, that's a thought.
It's a start.
I'm going to turn to Cassian. I'm saying his name right, aren't I?
Casimir.
Casimir! Oh my god, I just had like a brain fart. Yeah, I'm going to turn to Casimir and just say, do you have any idea of the layout of the house?
I'm afraid not. We've not made our way in. But looking around, there's only one door out of this room.
Okay, trial and error. Let's find the bedroom
Okay,
and study and stuff.
pushing open the door, you can see you find yourself in a hallway. It is lit by a small window over the main doors. Thinking about where you're in the house, you can see the double doors, the front doors, immediately to your left. In front of you, there is another door which is currently closed, and the hallway stretches on towards the right, where there is a small sort of T. At one end of the T, like the very end of this hallway bit, you can see there is a door on the left-hand side, and the T then stretches off to the right, and you can't see what's beyond there. There is no one in the hallway.
From the barred windows we knew were on the outside, which are the rooms that are going to have barred windows?
Rooms from the barred windows will be ones further down the hallway.
Right, those.
That's a good bet.
Yeah.
That's probably our best bet.
Okay. You rush up to the hallway. I'm going to say by this point it gets to about 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes 40. 45.
Hate the time thing. It's
2
so
minutes
stressful.
45, and you hear the whistles being blown by the watchmen, who have now clearly run in to fight.
Okay, so 3 minutes it takes them.
And Friends
to-
is going to be running out very soon, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping by then they're so busy that it's probably way less of
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
the thing in
Hopefully
front
that
of
by that
them is-
time they'll be in the back of a paddy wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's go.
So yeah, you hear the whistle going off from the watch. Rustling to the end of the hallway. Yeah. So where there's the T junction, you can see in front of, so as it were, continuing northwards along the T. There's only a small bit of passageway which leads to the door that's on the left-hand side. The other part of the T continues eastwards, and you can see that there are 2 doors on the left-hand side and 1 door at the very end.
Okay, and this is all the ones that would have bars.
Yes, these all look like rooms that would have bars in them.
Let's do
Okay.
one that's closest to us first.
Yeah,
Yeah, is it
well,
locked?
Corzin says, I'll check this one, you check that one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
not a
just
bad
spread
shout.
out and check what's
okay,
locked.
so who's checking the door
So how
that's
many
closest
rooms
to you?
are there actually?
So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 doors.
Okay, one each.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
one each.
Right,
Okay. I'm going to ask. All right. Are you doing this randomly?
Blah.
May as well.
Okay. In which case,
Yeah.
I'm going to roll for each of you then.
Okay.
So, Scamp, you are doing the door nearest to you.
Okay.
Celestia, you are doing. You are looking at the third door, like of the 3 doors away, the second door along. Corzin, you are looking at the door at the end. Casimir is looking at the second door.
Okay.
So, I'm going to ask each of you for an investigation check,
Right.
please.
Oh no. 6.
7.
Yep.
We're also
Oh,
smart.
19.
19.
Nice.
Okay, thank you. And Casimir gets high enough. Okay, so as you are pulling, each of you moves to your doors in time. Because of the distance, the doors open slightly one after the other. So, Scamp, you pull open your door. I need. I'm going to roll a luck check to see which way they're facing. Okay, they are unlucky. You pull open the door and you can just see a cluttered kitchen where there is a single member of the pious facing away from you. Currently, you can hear this with a large sizzling sound, which you can't hear anything
I'm
over.
going to really quietly
as
shut
he's
it.
making lunch.
Really quietly shut
It's on
it.
fire. You just quietly shut it. While this is happening,
Very lucky.
while this is
Midnight
happening,
lunch.
Casimir pulls open his door and goes,
I assumed it was night. I don't know why.
"No,
No,
it's
it's
not
daytime.
nice. It's the middle of the day.
I
It's
assumed
noon.
midnight.
Yeah, it's
Ah.
noon.
No, 12 noon because it's
12
festival.
noon. It's festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So it's sizzling away, making lunch.
Midnight lunch is a hilarious thought, though.
The heat's making our brains go wibbly.
Yeah. The Casimir pulls open his door. I found the library. Corzin, I'm going to say you get a moment. You pull open your door first, and you pull it open, and there is indeed an interior lavatory with a barred window behind it. Yep.
Corzin is vaguely disgusted and closes the door again.
Why is the window barred on the shitty?
Celestia, as you are moving to open the door, you notice something in your hand, and you stop. Faintly inscribed on the doorknob are 2 sets of glyphs.
Fuck.
It was you.
You could make an Arcana check if you wish to try and identify them.
Why not, I suppose. Oh, I don't think that's very good. That would be a 9.
It's probably magical. Unless he likes really... I mean, you can tell they're magical. Like unless he has very peculiar tastes in ornamental doorknobs. Yeah. So...
But there's probably something weird going on.
So you notice that before you put your hand on it.
Would I have any idea how to get rid of that?
Arcana check?
Oh, it's not something that these tools I know about. 15.
Okay, 15. Looking at them, actually... Ooh, this is weird. You've not really had any formal training in this sort of thing, but you have, ever since that these powers started to wake up, you've started to get more of an instinct for this sort of thing. And these look like they look like some sort of trap. It looks like they're activated by touching. One of them, just from the way they're shaped, something about it makes you think that it would discharge a lot of energy in some way if it was touched. The other makes it look like it would do something to the person touching it.
Okay.
But logically, there must be a safe way to open this doorknob. Because it's a doorknob, people must use it.
Yeah.
So unless you reckon, unless someone is very dexterously able to open the doorknob without touching any of the glyphs, there must be something like a password maybe that you speak, or you have to touch it in a certain way.
Password? Any thoughts? Any way of getting in?
By the time you've kind of called the others over to look at this,
I go as people like skidding down the hallway to look at it. I go, nobody touch the doorknob. There's a magical trap on it.
Okay.
Can any of you dispel it?
No.
I am a bard.
Again, like trying to dispel it, I'm going to say you could try, and with your thieves' tools, to selectively break the glyphs in the way that your instincts are telling you, but that would be a risky proposition. It would essentially be an Arcana check for you using your thieves' tools.
Ooh.
And there's no other way into this room.
Yeah. Any thoughts on any passwords?
Except for the barred windows.
No.
Unless you want to try and roll a luck check and see if you, by sheer chance, you happen to imagine the password on a natural 20.
I think maybe we have to try and break it, don't we?
Everyone stand really far back. I'm going to try and do it. This is a terrible idea.
Okay, you guys.
I'm back here with a healing spell.
Okay, you pull back to the far side of the T-junction.
I just prepare for healing word.
Yep.
Like I just have it in my brain.
Okay,
It's just there.
there are two traps on this, so I need 2 Arcana checks.
Shit.
So it's just Arcana. There's no.
It's I mean, are you proficient in Arcana?
No.
Then I'll add your thieves' tool proficiency.
Okay.
So it's an intelligence thieves' tool proficiency check.
Okay.
Because you kind of know what you need to do, but it's a question of doing it just right.
Oh no, that's a 6.
Okay, with a
is it
pulse
really loud
of
as well?
energy comes out. So the good news is everyone else got behind cover. Scamp, make a dex save, please.
This is a different dice than that one. That's a 1.
Okay, so...
bugger.
You are fucked.
Okay. Can you also please make a constitution save?
Was a 12.
No, less. 10. Sorry, can't.
10,
Can't
okay.
add.
So that's 10... Okay, Scamp, you take 24 points of thunder damage
Well, I'm unconscious.
as Scamp is hurled across the corridor. Also,
is so many at level
also
2.
you can see in her kind of, as she's kind of blinking on the verge of and passing out, there is some sort of strange looking filth, like sort of murkiness over their eyes.
Oh dear.
Okay, so
I'm going to cast Healing Word on Scamp.
yeah, you cast Healing Words immediately. Roll hit
so
points.
let me just do that. Oh god, you get 4 points.
I'm awake, that's good.
Okay,
I can cast Cure Wounds on her.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to say, so this is, you spent, call it 10 seconds trying to do that, so this is now about 3 minutes 20 seconds. The door opens from the kitchen.
Let's all run into the room. Can we run into the room? Have we seen them, or is it too quick?
I mean, it's up to you. Like, you could try and, you can, I'm going to say, maybe you could try and duck into, say, the library, or you could try and, the door, with the room with the explodey handle has not actually been pulled open yet. So, although the spells have discharged.
Okay.
So, Snap's decision, you can either stay and face whatever's coming out of the kitchen, or you could try and duck into maybe the library, be the closest, the only one you could get to in time.
Let's try and duck into the library.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need...
Can I from where I am?
I need just a straight dex check from everyone to make it in time.
8.
Oh god. 7.
15.
No. Well, Calcinea and Corzin can make it into the library, and I'll describe that in a moment, but the other two, you're kind of just managed to pick yourselves up, or rather, Celestia, you've just managed to pick Scamp off the floor when the door finishes opening, and you can see the cook.
It's just one person,
member of the Pious, is standing there. He has got a he's just holding the frying pan
Charm
in one
person.
hand. Okay,
Yeah, I'm going
wisdom
to
saving
cast Charm
throw?
person. Let me
Yes,
check.
I think it is.
Wisdom save, yep.
Nope. And as he's about to raise it and call, his eyes defocus slightly. Oh, what? What's going?
Oh, I'm sorry, my darling. My friend's not very well, and she ran in here to get away from the ruckus. I think she accidentally touched the doorknob. So we can sort this out. If you just go back in the kitchen, continue making lunch, we can sort all this out, this mess.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
I hate all of my dice today. Help me. Oh god.
That's not bad.
Persuasion, but my persuasion's good, so we should be alright. Yeah, 17.
Kind of blinks for a moment, and you get the feeling that under normal circumstances, that
This would be totally insane.
this might not pass through, but with powerful magic subverting his will, he kind of goes, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, and just don't tell anyone we're here. We don't want to worry the master.
Yeah, sure. He closes the door and goes back to cooking.
Nice.
That lasts for an hour, guys. So we have a bit of time. Let's go. Go.
Okay, so
Move.
Can I see you alright?
actually, this is the point. I forgot to mention this. Yeah, Scamp, you wake up. Everything's dark.
Oh shit.
And you like Celestia, you've just pulled Scamp up with the intent of running. But now that you look closely, you can see where Scamp's goat-like eyes normally are. There are just 2 white films.
Can you see?
No.
I'm gonna like pick her up and put her on my back like a piggyback.
Okay.
Cool.
Sort of thing. Because fuck leading you around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get that sorted later. Don't worry about it now. Let's just go and get the thing and leave.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So you piggybacking Scamp. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you could check the library, but you get the feeling that the trapped room.
I think
is
the exploding
the exploding room is
Yeah.
probably up.
Yeah.
So you pull, looking.
I
you
pull
can
the
see
library
that-
door open and I go, come on.
Yeah, the moving in, you can see that the door at the This would actually have attracted more guards, that's thundercrap, but by this point, every other member of the Pious is now fighting fighty. The fight is still going on.
How many are there? 8 of them? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, except for the kitchen,
This was a
7
good
of them.
plan.
7 of them and 2 watchmen are now fighting.
I really hope we don't get him killed.
That would be awful.
Or arrested. We should definitely pay his bail.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, we probably should. But maybe we should send a messenger
So
to do it because we can't go into it.
Okay, so while that fight is ongoing, the so you pull open the door and look into, and you find it is a study and bedroom. Quickly describing the surroundings, at the far end of this room, like directly opposite, because it's like it's a fairly squarish room, and you are entering from the southwestern side. At the northwestern edge, there is a mahogany desk with a chair facing directly beneath one of the barred windows, so that light would come, in and above. In the northeastern corner, there is a very large, very exquisite-looking bed. On the eastern side, there is a fireplace with a chimney rising up to the top of the house. On the southeastern side, there is a very large dresser drawer, like a wardrobe. But most importantly, standing in the middle, or rather floating in the middle, Scamp and Calcinea can see.
No,
Scamp can't see.
Scamp
Scamp
don't
can't see
see
anything.
nothing.
Yeah, Calcinea then can only see what appear to be 8 long blades of light held in midair,
Ugh.
with a sort of indistinct form in between. Celestia and Corzin, you can see the form of what appears to be a golden, actually I'm going to say like a sort of silvery looking octopus floating in midair, holding the 8 blades of light.
Oh.
I'm going to say you guys, because you can see the spirits, make an insight check.
Alright.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 10? Wait, no. Yeah, 10.
That is a straight 3 from Celestia.
10. Okay. Corzin, it's weird because this thing has no clear face as such, but you get the bizarre feeling that it seems a bit bored, like it's just doing a job. And it's just hanging there, shining blades of light wrapped in its tentacles, and just waiting. It seems to it kind of vaguely acknowledges your approach, but
I say to it, now we're not going to have any trouble here, are we?
Is there something there?
Are you going to make that?
Yeah,
I'm curious. Do you want to make that? How much threat are you putting behind that?
None.
And how much? Just an ask. Okay, I'm going to ask you to make a persuasion check, Corzin.
I say to Scamp, there's a big octopus thing. Don't worry, it's fine.
Do you want me to make it our friend?
Casimir looks.
I don't have to see for that.
No, there's just floating blades of light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a 17.
Okay, it's high DC, but the spirit, which doesn't talk, kind of seems to shrug a little, and with one of the blades, it seems to indicate a radius around it, about 10 feet around it. The radius does not extend exclusively all the way to the wall, but you kind of get the feeling that it is marking out the radius with which its arms can stretch to for a reason.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody saw that. Across that line, we do not cross unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I say to Casimir, stay where you are.
Okay. It will be. I'm going to call this it will be an acrobatics check if you want to maneuver around the room without crossing into that circle, because it is fairly wide and it does cover a lot of the room.
I mean, has Celestia noticed that this spirit looks bored?
No,
Okay, cool.
you didn't make your insight check, so
Yeah,
this spirit just seems to be guarding. At this point, it's 4 minutes in.
Shit.
Let's keep going.
Do we think that's the safe?
It's gotta be.
Must be, mustn't it?
Yeah, these, as I mentioned, those are the furniture objects that you can see in the room.
Two lots of security for something that isn't this. It's still going to be worth something.
I mean,
I'm going to say that the radius does extend to the western wall. So if you wanted to reach, say, the bed or the desk, you would have to go like all the way around the eastern side, as it were, like circuit round past the dressing, the dresser, past the fireplace.
Can we get to the dresser without ignoring or without provoking an attack from this thing?
It will require an acrobatics check to stay flat to the wall because
Alright.
the circle does pass close.
All right.
I'm gonna look at the spirit thing and just go, is there anything you want?
The actually, yeah, roll. Actually, no, not even a perception check. It just sort of shrugs with 4 of its tentacles.
Nothing at all.
Again, it shrugs. It seems to have a job to do. The most that it seems to be willing to concede on the job it's been given is just indicating the area it's guarding, as it were, the reach of it. The directly beneath it, as it were, within that 10-foot diameter circle, is just carpet. Like there's nothing really distinguishing. No furniture there.
All right. I'm going to just ask it straight out. Is there anything that we can do that's going to mean you don't try and hurt us if we cross that line?
Once again, it just indicates the limit of its radius with the blades.
Okay.
Seen, yeah.
Guess we're going to be making some acrobatics checks then.
I mean, we can't get into the middle without crossing it, can we?
You can go around the edge, you don't have to.
Okay, is this... But we haven't seen the safe, have we? I'm assuming it's...
But
Yeah, you can't see a safe, so yeah, you get that it's probably hidden.
Yeah, it might be... Is it not hidden in the middle?
the middle's just carpet.
I mean,
from
unless
what
it's
you can
buried
see.
under the carpet.
Are
I
there
assumed it was
rugs
like
all right there?
masked under the 4 weird bits of light. But yeah, maybe we just go around the edge and try and do acrobatics things.
Yeah. No, the weird bits of light are actually kind of translucent. They just
I'll stay
they just
here.
look like saber blades made out of light.
I just sort of sit Scamp in a corner, like
Yeah.
feet nicely away from the light, and just go, you just
Yeah.
take a minute, yeah?
Okay, so who's crossing round past the edge?
What would it be?
Acrobatics.
My acrobatics actually isn't bad. I can have a go.
Okay. So Celestia.
Unless Corzin, your acrobatics is off the scale.
Acrobatics for me is +4.
Same, actually.
Okay.
Okay.
Either or then.
Alright, I'll have a crack. Why not? See what happens.
Calcinea will do the same.
Oh, God. 8. Help.
8. Okay.
Sorry. Match out.
You kind of stumble a little at one point, and I'm going to need you to make a dexterity save, please, as the one of the blades slices down at you.
Okay, 21.
Lightning fast. Okay, that's good. You take you take half the damage. So you take 10 points of radiant damage.
Oh,
I'm actually unconscious.
fuck. Okay.
I've only got 10 hit points right now.
You still had 3 hit points.
Yeah, I
from
had 7 after fighties.
Fighties.
Yeah.
No, but I mean with the
Yeah,
so with
I had
with
7
temporary
hit points and 3 temporary.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
The moment you go down, at least, it doesn't continue to attack you. But yeah, you are slumped down to one side.
Okay,
going
Corzin
on?
goes, "Oh, for the love of the Regent!" and pulls her back out
Okay.
and casts Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right, I'll roll the... it's a D8 plus my
Yeah.
spell ability. Get out of the thing.
Okay. It is 4 minutes 30. Scamp, the scales over your eyes clear up.
Oh, fuck.
You can now see several floating blades in the middle of this room, and an unconscious Celestia being dragged back into the corner and brought back from
don't see an
unconsciousness.
You regain 10 hit points.
Yeah, you can't see the
Oh,
octopus.
thank you. Exactly the same as I was before. Excellent.
I was going to say that I am working that out right, isn't it? It's I rolled 6 on the die, plus my wisdom, plus my proficiency.
Does your proficiency add? No.
No, it's
just your wisdom.
Oh, in which case it's 8.
8.
Ah, that's still fine. I'm awake and alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. As I'm going to say, you notice that having hit Celestia, the blades have all incrementally dimmed slightly. There's still a fair amount of radiance left in them, but it appears that they have lost some of their power.
Right.
Did I get over to the other side?
No, Scamp pulled you back rather than pushing you across. Sorry, Corzin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scamp was blind.
Scamp was...
Okay. Okay,
Corzin,
are there any loose...
Do you want to have a go?
Yeah, I'll try.
Apparently I'm not good at anything today, so it's what you get for drinking that much.
Oh, yeah, that's acrobatics check of 22.
Fantastic.
Okay. nicely
Glad
done.
somebody's on it.
I just sort of run and then do like the double knee skid across the floor, leaning back underneath the thing. Like,
I love that.
Okay. Sorry, what was your check again?
that's 22.
Oh yeah, no, you easily make it across before the blades can react. Okay, you're on the far side. You're next to you can from here without crossing into it, having to make another acrobatics check. You can easily check the dresser, the fireplace, or the bed. I'm going to say Casimir is going to follow you.
I do so meticulously.
Casimir is slight. Is Slice can see if he can make the dex save. Oh, what's his dex? No, okay, Casimir takes the full 20 points of radiant damage, but fortunately has enough hit points to survive that.
God.
As he hits the other side, you can see he's visibly shaken. There's
He's
no
not
blood
level 2.
taken by this, but he looks like... You can attest that it felt like your blood boiled and burned.
Oh, but you didn't actually bleed.
Don't actually bleed,
That's
but yeah,
interesting.
it's like it boils your blood within you, and Casimir steadily takes a healing potion.
Oh, it's
from his
microwaves,
current
man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Again,
Gross.
the
Cosmic
radiant
rays.
blades have faded. They're now about half their original luminosity.
Ah.
Right.
I don't want to find out what happens when they fade entirely.
Searching
Personally.
around.
Okay, yeah, this is an investigation check, and because Casimir did make it across, you can have an advantage because he's going to assist you.
Yay! I'm gonna need it. That's a 7.
Oh, mate.
No.
Okay, as far as you can tell, there's no hidden panels in the fireplace. There's nothing under the bed. Opening the dresser, you do find something behind a few robes and pieces of clothing. Pulling it aside, you can see there is a midnight blue cloak with a blue hood, like an executioner's hood, that goes over the face, like
Okay.
leaving the lower face exposed, but with eye holes. There is
Alright.
also a in blue leather, a studded leather bondage harness, like a crossed harness that would go like two crosses that would go
He's a kinky little
across the
cleric.
chest, and a midnight blue leather codpiece.
Right.
Oh my god, I
Well.
want it.
He is taking all of this out.
He doesn't have like a flagpole we could run these up, does he?
Yeah. Oh no, I've got plans
That would
for
be
where I'm going to
hilarious.
put these. But
Celeste, does Celestia see this?
Yeah, Celestia sees him take these out.
Is that a blue codpiece?
yeah.
Can I have it? That's amazing.
It is around about your size.
Sure.
Need to be taken in a bit.
Actually, okay. If I were to throw this across the room, would it affect the guard?
You do not know.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it's probably a dex check, just to try and toss it fast enough or accurately enough.
Worth doing?
Not to go. Yep. Actually, I'll say, yeah, I'm going to count this as a dex attack, so add your proficiency bonus, because you're essentially throwing it.
Yeah, okay. That was a question to my fellow players here. Worth doing? No, but the question I was asking was, is it worth me actually just throwing this across the room to you, or do you think it's going to get sliced in half by the guard?
Oh, I just meant bring it back when you come back.
Right, okay. I'll keep it about me, but having taken all the clothing out of the wardrobe, is there anything in it?
No, just the bondage gear.
Right, okay. Well, no. Corzin knows exactly what he can do with these.
Incredible.
Where's the safe?
The only place you haven't checked is the desk, so if you want to check that, you'll need to make another acrobatics check to get around the far side of the circle.
Doing it.
Okay, go for it.
That is a 17.
You manage to pull past you duck into your toe goes into the circle for a moment, but the octopus only sort of lazily swipes the blade, and you're able to pull it back out.
Very lazy guard.
Something tells me your heart isn't in this, mate.
Where is this octopus?
The octopus
Right
shrugs
there.
again, but it's more expressive.
Never
And
get to see
from your
anything
perspective,
fun.
you just see some of the blades twitch a little, shift in position. Casimir makes it across as well, so
Good.
that'll give you advantage on your investigation check for this for examining.
Okay, investigation. Come on. Okay, 17.
Okay, you spot concealed in one side of the desk. There is a hidden panel. There is also a glyph on scribed into part of the panel, which actually covers a lot of the panel's sides. It might be possible to remove the panel without triggering the glyph if you were to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. I'm not too bad at that. Come on. Although, wait. I've got a rogue with me. Should
This
I
is
not?
true. Actually, yeah, just roll it. I'll let you do it with Casimir's check then. Just roll a d20 and add 4 for me.
16.
Casimir just carefully reaches in and manages to remove the panel without breaking the glyph. It seems there is a way designed to do it. And yeah, as it pulls out, you can see there is a small iron safe concealed within. By the way, by this point, it's taken you a while to get here, so it's about 05:20, I'm going to say.
Time to go.
All right.
Yes.
Casimir, okay, I'm going to ask you to roll for Casimir then.
Right, do
Casimir
your stuff,
is
mate.
is using Thieves' Tools, so...
Do we need to open it? Should we not just take it with us?
You can try and just take it with you, we can try and open it here.
How heavy is it?
It looks like... it's about as much as a small bag of cement, like from the looks of it. Like it would be
heavy.
Yeah, you could carry it, but it would be heavy.
Yeah, and I mean,
It would be
think
Heavy
about
and cumbersome.
It would
doing
be quicker
the
to
acrobatics across the room with that. No, if we can possibly help it, yeah.
If we're stuck, yes.
Yeah. All right, so am I rolling?
Yeah. So roll and add a he's got expertise actually, so add an 8. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Nice.
That's an 18.
Okay. He tries for, I'm going to say, most of a minute.
We
but
don't have a minute.
and he eventually goes, fuck. No, this is. I need to work on this at the safe house, and he's gonna. And as with your help, you pull it out. Actually, no, you have a choice. You could also try and do damage to this thing and try and break it open if you want to.
I don't
Otherwise,
take
it's
it.
easier to just take it. Yeah.
Well, no, breaking it open could be quicker. And
Yeah,
if
so it's
if
up
we
to you.
fail, we've lost nothing other than time.
Unless we damage what's inside it.
I'm worried about setting the glyph off.
No, the
the
glyph's
glyph-
been
If you want to
removed.
try-
No, the glyph is fine. That's been
Oh,
removed
okay,
off
it's
to a
been
panel
removed, okay.
on one side.
I mean, hit it once, see what happens, I suppose. I just
All right,
wouldn't repeatedly.
I will try.
Yeah.
If-
Okay. What are you using to do damage to this thing? Because bear in mind, Scamp and Celestia are on the other side of the room.
It's made out.
Calcinea, It's made out of iron, but there are hinges that could be broken.
It's made. Oh, the hinges are made out of iron. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Ultimately, you could try and make an athletics check to break it.
Athletics. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, just trying to rip it off the hinges.
Okay. So he spits on both of his hands, rubs them together.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. That's gonna be a 13.
No, it's an iron door. I'm going to say that takes time. You can make one more attempt if you want, but it'll take more time.
Alright, I'm going to do so, and if that fails, I'm just going to throw it across the room.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, that's much better. That's 21.
Okay. You actually managed, with sheer halfling strength, you managed to tear the hinges open and pull out the door. Just as you hear Casimir's badge go, keep another eye out. The watcher here the watch have arrived in force out the front, and from the looks of it, your gnomish friend is going to make a run for it. Surprised he's still standing.
We need to go.
Yeah, so you pull the door open, and at this point, so it's 6 minutes. Yeah, 6 minutes 40. You can see now there's a handful of things inside. Some papers which Casimir pulls into a bag. There's also just several bags of money, which again shoves into a bag.
Yoink, yoink, yoink,
there's
yoink.
also 3 large sort of paper bricks which he puts into the bag. 2 of them hits into the bag. The third one, he takes a dagger from his belt and slices the top of it open, and you can see there is rich brown opium inside.
Ooh.
But there's also, he pulls out what looks like a folded series of documents which he places into an inside pocket and puts the third brick of opium in as well. Now I have what I came for.
This looks like his weekend supplies. And he looks from the contents of the safe to the gimp suit on the floor.
Oh God! Is it basically a gimp suit?
It is basically explicitly a gimp suit.
Right, I'm grabbing the gimp suit because I know what I can do with this that will really.
There's a moment where you just cannot escape the image of the naked, somewhat elderly Harbour Master Ankra. Again, like naked except for the codpiece, the harness, and the midnight blue hood and cloak.
Let's not kink shame him. It's all right.
This just wasn't something I needed.
Scamp doesn't get it.
Okay, so 2
God.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
Scamp doesn't get
there's
it.
2 ways you can do this. You can either try and make 2 acrobatics checks of lower DC to go around the way you came, or you can try and make a very high acrobatics check to get past the blades by running across the centre of the room.
Which is faster?
Centre of the room is faster, certainly.
All right. I'll chuck the clothing across first.
Yeah.
Because if that gets destroyed, then it's a pain in the arse, but it's not vital.
Okay.
Do I roll a dex for that?
Yeah, make a dex save, please. Dex check.
That's going to be a 17.
Okay, one of the blades again lazily swipes after it, but the package of clothes is tossed over, and Celestia, you catch them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you have the gimp suit.
Okay.
I want the codpiece.
Right.
Included.
Yeah.
Let's if we've emptied out the safe, let's try and go around the outside.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you for 2 acrobatics checks, please.
Okay.
Casimir likes that.
That's an 18 for Corzin.
That's fine.
Nice.
Second one?
Casimir, same bonus?
No, Casimir's already rolled both of his. He
Oh.
slips by like a cat.
Alright.
Or like a snake.
Alright. So, we're on the right side of the room again now with everybody else. Let's get the hell out of here.
No, you need to make a second acrobatics check.
Oh, okay, right.
You've gone onto the eastern side, and now you need to slip back again past the radius.
All right, here we go. Oh, natural 1.
Make a dexterity save, please.
I'm good at this. Okay, that's a. I think. That's a 22.
Okay, you take 10 more points of radiant. The 10 points of radiant damage as one of the blades catches you across the back of the thigh, and you can feel just all of the blood boil inside you for a moment. It's agonizingly painful. As you step past with the contents of the safe, the blades have now significantly decreased, and seeing those of you who can spirit see, you see the octopus lazily glance back, kind of see that the safe is now empty, and it shrugs with all of its limbs, drives the blades into the floor, lets go of them, and just lazily starts following after you. It seems to consider its job done now.
That's weird.
Okay.
The thing you did to the guard, is that still up?
Yeah, that's got an hour.
Right, let's go out the back door.
Go, hurry, run.
Go.
Yeah, so 7 minutes 20.
That's a long time.
Yeah, you run past the kitchen, the cooking Pius, who kind of raises his hand. Hi.
Wave as we go past.
Have a lovely day.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone we were here.
Okay.
Bye. Enjoy your lunch.
The 4 of you run like thieves out the back. Okay, pushing the back door open. You can glance around.
Charm Person's such a stupid spell. I love it.
You can see Fighty is now being held by 4 out of 6 out of the 8 watchmen there. Looks like a team of 6 have arrived. Actually, no, and you can see 6 more are now coming up the road towards him. Several of the pious are out cold on the floor.
Oh, God.
Are they holding him by chains off the ground?
Two of the watchmen are unconscious as well. Fighty looks battered and beaten. He's bleeding freely from his lips.
Holy shit.
And he's kind of weakly like, oh fuck, this is hard.
Oh god.
And still kind of struggling against the watchmen who are trying to manacle him. So yes, I'm going to say make a stealth check, everyone, please, to avoid the eyes of the guards. They've kind of neutral disadvantage to advantage.
Now I roll a natural 20.
Why are you looking at me like you're guilty?
That's a 6.
Oh no, that's bad from me too. Okay, that would be an 8 from me.
Okay, Casimir and Corzin, you slip over the wall on the far side. But just as the pair of you, Scamp and Celestia, are running to the exit, one of the watchmen spots you and goes, "Oi!
Charm Person! It's not concentration, so I can do this.
Is it not?
Range.
30 feet.
No, he's on the far streets. He's on the other side.
Run.
Okay, yeah. In which case then I'm just going to ask for athletics checks at this point, as you see the guard, some of the watchmen announce. The watchman signals to the other, blows his whistle.
Well, wait, they haven't seen us, have they? They've only seen them.
They haven't seen you two. They've only seen Celestia and Scamp.
14.
Okay, 14, and what was yours?
7.
Okay, well, the watchman and a couple of others are chasing after you, but they are actually getting stuck, getting the gate open to chase after you. So you are actually able to make a lead on them.
Thank God. Their check must have been awful.
It was a 5. So you run back to the getaway wagon, and as you're not directly pursued, like you're able to break line of sight. You can see that Lucia is already on the wagon, like with the reins, going, "Get in, get in, get in!" You pull open the tarp, and you can see this wagon is filled with fish. Some of it kind of rotten, but most of it in barrels. But yeah, there's clear spaces to hide in. And the 4 of you get inside, pull the tarp down after you, and as Lucia sort of takes the reins and the horses begin to clop away, you can hear the sounds of guardsmen behind. Where did they go? You go that way, you go this way! And the sound of pursuit as Lucia's cart just gently blends into the rest of the traffic of the day.
That was extremely stressful.
Did we make it onto the back of the cart as well, just unseen?
Yeah, you all made it on.
Right.
Corzin, are you okay? Like, how injured are you?
I've been better, but I'll live.
Okay.
That
need a
was quite an experience. And as you look around, you can see Celestia and Corzin. The octopus has come with you and is now just sort of seeming to be amused by what's going on. Has just perched gently on Corzin's shoulder, joining the other spirits there.
And
nice.
Corzin, noticing this, goes, "You were wasted in that place, to be honest, mate."
The octopus sort of shrugs, but in a kind of agreeable sort of way.
I'm so confused. Where is this octopus?
It's on Corzin's shoulder.
You're all crazy.
Casimir looks at you. I am inclined to agree with you, my friend, but you are crazy and effective. Let's keep quiet. It's only a 50-minute ride to the safe house. And 15 minutes later, you hear the sounds of the wagon stopping, a heavy door being pulled back, and the wagon moving into some sort of building. Door closes, and the tarp is pulled back, and you find yourselves in the interior of a large warehouse.
I assume my coffee buzz is worn off by now.
Oh yeah, the exhaustion is coming back now.
Yeah.
This you've kind
I
of
assume
like,
the adrenaline would have kept her up.
It's been enough time. It's like, oh yeah.
The smell of fish probably isn't doing anything
Yeah.
for me.
Casimir pulls off his hat, kind of shakes his hair, and lets his horns get a bit of air, and dismisses the thaumaturgy on his eyes. Pulls off his gloves as well, and gestures to a handful of kind of half-cut barrels that have been positioned as sitting places. Come, my friends, let's take a seat.
Well, that could have gone worse.
That certainly could.
Yep.
Hey, none of us were caught. You've got to go with that.
None of us are dead.
None of us are dead.
Well, I came a little bit close. I'm going to have a little sit down.
Yeah, maybe do that.
Yeah, me and my 4 hit points are going to have a little sit down.
All 4 of them.
Short rest, come on.
1 minute. This is I'm looking for. So, before we get to business, Casimir is actually going to produce. He rummages around in one of the crates nearby and produces a series of pipes and some tobacco actually as well. Although he does pat one of the opium bricks as if to offer anyone who is interested.
Yeah, why not?
No!
Okay.
Has Celestia ever done opium before? This is a good game.
Roll a d20.
3!
No, you've heard of it. It's more of a service thing.
Is that weird thing they all smoke up here?
You could call it that, yes. It's good Haldanos opium. The this stuff, of course, didn't go through the proper tariffs, which is why the harbour master claimed them.
I'm feeling sort of terrible. Let's put more substances into my body. Let's do it. Yes.
He crumbles a little bit of opium into the pipes. Doesn't hand you one, Scamp, because
you're a child.
Information and the fact that you're a child. Because while this show has apparently seriously promoted underage drinking, we'll probably
we draw the line at drugs.
Yes.
Don't do drugs,
My
kids.
body is a temple.
Yeah.
Celestia's body is not a temple.
Yeah, your body is a temple to Dionysus, apparently.
Yes.
I guess Corzin up to you whether you go for opium or tobacco if you choose to smoke at all.
I'm going to roll for this, because I think he will have done most in his time, but...
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. I feel like Corzin's done everything.
Well, you know what they say. You should try everything once except for incest and line dancing. And he takes the opium pipe.
I think you have a good point there, my friend. And with some matches, he lights them, and you just spend a couple of minutes just gently puffing.
I suppose this is any good for hangovers.
It'll probably make you just
like
not
that.
care about him anymore.
That'll do. Celestia puffs away, probably coughs a bit at the start.
It's you've had it before, Corzin. It's a little stronger than the old halfling pipeweed.
Yep.
But yeah, there is a mellowing effect. And
You'll feel a little bit squishy.
because this is a painkiller, and you've only taken one dose, and I need to stat out what long-term effects, what repeated dose effects would be. You can all give everyone who's smoking opium give themselves d6 temporary hit points.
Alright, I'm rolling now.
Hello, yes.
6!
Oh yeah, you are very blessed.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling
Are we having a short rest?
You are currently having a short rest. Yes,
Lovely.
it's doing something to ameliorate the effects of the hangover. Not as well as the coffee, but it's at least a little calmer.
How long do these temporary hit points last?
Until your next short rest.
Right, okay.
Same as with the coffee effect.
Cool.
So I'm going to do this.
How long are we high for?
Probably for during the short rest, and then afterwards you retain the painkiller effects until your next.
Yeah,
short
we
rest.
retain the nice squishy feeling, but we're not actually high.
Yeah.
God, why don't they have this in the Underdark? This is great.
It is. Well, my friend, I assure you from my contacts, they do. But it is.
Poppies don't grow very well down there, so
Yes, it's very much import only, and besides, it depends on what the temple allows. As I understand, your people sometimes they can have very interesting rules on what they do and don't permit. But I can assure you, it does get purchased down there.
No, not through channels I'd known, apparently.
He draws a long puff of smoke. So, I'm going to say this would be, I promised to, well, before we share the loot, I promised you an introduction. He draws one of the rings from his fingers and passes it to you, Celestia. That is, you might call it my bona fides. It will ensure that you are, when you present yourself, they know that we have met and that I okayed your appearance. The man you are looking for, you will not get a face-to-face meeting on a first appearance, but you will likely be able to learn what you need from one of his associates, his lieutenants, if you will. You are looking... He goes by the Sculptor in Crosswater.
The Sculptor?
Mm-hmm.
Why the Sculptor? Do you know?
I understand he likes to collect statues of all manner. It's a favorite type. Amongst the Fisher Kings, the head of any local guild will have a title by which they are known. There are those who will call me the Viper.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I see. Because of the whole yeah.
Yes.
That's clever. That is.
I've had a little much opium to have made that connection immediately, but I see it. I like it. It's good.
He gives you a little bit of a grin. You see, this is where I do good business. I make sure I get the good stuff. But you want to speak to, again, probably not a direct meeting, but one of the Sculptor's henchmen will be able to put you in the right direction. You'll want to look for him in the statue garden. It is an inn, or by the name of the statue garden, not an actual statue garden. But if you head to the statue garden and politely ask if there are any sculptors in town, and mention that are looking to have a statue made of a fisherman. The important thing is fisherman, and the important thing is the fisherman.
Okay, and be nice.
Be nice.
And I only show the ring when somebody comes out?
You show the ring when you are shown to the right people. That way, they will know I have sent you.
Thank you.
Unless they have sold their cargo within Crosswater itself, most likely what they will be able to tell you is where it was sold, and you can head there afterwards. I warn you, it may take time for you to get places.
Yes.
Speaking of time, Lucia has been doing a little bit of nosing around on my end. Lucia is puffing on her own pipe, nods. Aye. I've been looking into what your companions are doing, since it behoves me to keep an eye on the Harbour Master's doings. Harbour Master's assistant received a handsome present from your first mate Vig for a little bit of information on one of the ships in dock. That'll be the Osirian trader, the Fawn. She'll be leaving port, or she's scheduled to leave port in 7 days' time. So I suspect that your ship will be remaining in port until then. If you want to get to Crossport water, you will need a seaworthy ship. But if you're looking to entertain yourself with the local islands for a bit, until our boys and girls get out of their stay at the big house, we do have a smuggler's skiff available should you wish to do a little pleasure cruising of the surrounding coastland. We'll want it back before you make your way back on your ship.
Makes sense. I think one of the things we've definitely got to do is pay our little gnomish friend his due, because he's been worth his weight in gold today.
Yeah, he put himself out quite a bit. So if we could...
I will see what I can do about an early release program for him.
Yeah, if maybe we could... I mean, there's a fair amount of gold in those bags, isn't there? Maybe we could take a little bit out for his bail?
I have cheaper ways, don't worry.
Okay. Someone's got connections.
Let's just say, so long as he doesn't mind not coming back for a few months to this town.
He was planning on going to Crosswater anyway. He said yesterday.
Well timed. Well, I'm sure we can make things happen. Kind of rolls his shoulders a little. Besides, got drunk, started a fight. I'm sure these things can disappear. It's not too serious. It's not like he was smuggling.
I don't suppose this is the first time he's been pulled up for such things.
No.
Not that I've heard. I am familiar with your friend. He came in about 6 weeks ago. Has been doing. He's a curious fellow, tailor. I've never met a gnomish tailor before. Not that I've met many gnomes.
His clothes are good, though. He looks like a good tailor.
Indeed, he did quite a lot of high-profile dressmaking, suit-making, particularly with the festival coming up. I suspect this was making a lot of business for him, which would not surprise me why he is looking to move on. That was, after all, a big time. Lots of people wanting to show themselves off. Still, I'm sure that I can arrange for him to be let out in 5 or 6 days. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. On to the important thing, though.
Okay.
The money. Now, he pats the bricks of opium. I hope you will not be too offended if I keep what is my property originally. He taps the bricks. But there is a lot of gold. And he spends a little bit of time counting it out. There is indeed 600 gold pieces.
Nice.
Some of it's in silver, most of it's in gold. And divided amongst the 5 of you, each of you get 120 gold pieces.
Yes.
Hey.
This is a good day.
That's so much money.
Well,
I
What
say,
am I going to do with that?
Scamp, my boy, we're gonna live like kings.
Okay.
It's a decent amount of money, not quite enough to live like a king. It's good.
Well,
I
we're
can't even
certainly
carry
on our
all
way. We're certainly on our way.
I have to buy some sort of bag.
Or maybe you can buy yourself a nice new beard.
But this one matches my hair.
True. It is a fine beard. Celestia looks at you in her little opium tank, happily staring at your beard.
Have we
The
got a
hood's
bit
down,
of?
so it's around the
like-
back of my head at the moment.
Have we got a bit of time now to kill before we either get back to the ship or do whatever we're going to do next?
yeah, I mean, technically you've got 7 days of time.
Right.
In terms of like stuff you can do in the afternoon.
Two things in the immediacy of now,
plenty
then.
time. Yeah.
One, he looks again at the. I'm just going to call it what it is, a gimp suit,
Yeah.
Oh,
and says, "So where do you suppose he got that?"
He looks up and down. My friend, if it were not for the fact that he probably had it before now, I would look to your friend Fighty.
That's sort of what I was wondering.
yeah, possibly.
But
It's possible he made it, but I don't know. That looks like it's had some use.
yeah, it gives me
So
an
maybe
idea.
it's
Gives me an idea.
He's been there for a while.
Now, out of character, is there a official harbour master's office overlooking the?
Oh yes, there is.
Right.
Does it have a flagpole we can run it?
He
Oh,
does
hell
have
yeah.
a flagpole.
Yes.
You know I am going to try and put that up the flagpole.
Yes. Let's do this.
Okay. My friend, and Calcinea gets up and moves over to a large crate and pulls the front of the crate open. It looks like it's sealed, and you can see there is a set of steps down behind it. This will take you about 4 streets. It'll take you a couple of streets down. We've knocked our way through some old basements. It will allow you to leave this place without being seen. Get you a little closer to the docks. But maybe you might want to rest a little bit and wait for the edge to run off this
At
and tap his
least-
pipe.
Yeah.
Just a small rest. I'm
Yeah.
feeling a little squishy, to be subtle, right now.
No, that's fair enough. There is one thing I wanted to ask you, Celestia, though.
Yes.
And he takes off his pack and he rummages around in the depths of it for a little while, and you see he pulls out the belaying pin that he would use as a club, and so the bottles of the cockatrice venom,
Various random things.
and he pulls out a long, thin piece of spiked metal that you would recognize immediately as an arrow. And he says, Now, I got this a little while ago,
Yes.
and all I know is it's elvish. Would you happen to know what kind of elves made this?
I'm going to take it off him.
Make a
Have a look at
history
it.
check, please.
Oh, God.
There's something which is immediately obvious to you, but make a history check to see what else you can glean.
God. 11.
Okay.
Not the worst.
You recognise this kind of arrow. These are, well, first of all, you recognise the material on the end, just because you've seen it before, although most wouldn't. It looks a lot like patterned folded steel. And if you think Damascus steel, you're kind of in the right sort of area. Those just nice patterns, but it's darker. It's like a It's like it's like sort of lines of silvery steel, like, and lines of kind of dark, very dark steel in its pattern. This arrow is tipped with adamantium.
Ooh.
Which is a...
Would I know that? That's a metal that I recognise.
You've seen it before, because you've seen arrows like this before. Often they are used as trophies when war is, when it's not a time of war. These arrows are useful for one reason, that they are basically unbreakable if properly used. So, and they're kind of used historically as a bit of a boast. It was a proof of the archer's skill that they had like this one arrow that would always find its mark and always kill its mark, so that they could go and retrieve it.
Okay.
And it would be the habit of the archer, of these elite archers, to essentially have forged into the shaft, in a line of adamantium into the shaft, so they couldn't easily be removed, their own name or their family name.
Okay.
So it would essentially be like a trophy piece that could be passed down, and you would actually sometimes have multiple generations of elves use the family arrow.
This one arrow
to prove that they were that awesome.
Can I have a look at the shaft and see if there's a name on it?
There is a name on it.
What's the name?
It is an elven. It is Rothanol. It looks to be perhaps 400 or 500 years old. So this is
right.
This would probably have been used, you would guess, by an elite archer of the Rothanol clan, maybe like 3 generations ago.
Okay.
By elven reckoning.
Where did you get this?
Do you recall that gnome we ran into just before we found where Salts had... No. Where Smith had hauled himself up.
The one with the cool tattoos?
Yeah. I got it off her a while ago. I could tell that it was valuable, but to be honest, I don't know too much about elven history and practices, and it's not so much of use to me as a weapon, but I just thought it was something that was worth hanging on to, you know?
It probably is. It's drow. It's basically what we like to call a "my dick's bigger than yours" arrow, pretty much. The archers do a thing where you only have one arrow, and the idea is when you kill someone, you get it back because you're that good a shot that you don't need more than one arrow. So it's something of a family heirloom.
So they still use arrows. Wow.
Out of character, do they?
Oh yeah,
I assume they do.
Gunpowder has not taken on in the Underdark, mostly because combat in the Underdark needs to be quiet. If you make too much noise, especially like gunpowder type noise, then it will attract monsters like purple wolves.
And it will echo off the cave walls.
Yeah. It's making a lot of noise is a very bad idea.
Darling, we basically live in an enormous cave full of monsters. Do you really want to set a gun off in there?
You make a fair point. I suppose you'd start a cave in, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't bandy that arrow about if I were you.
No. Out of character, did she mention to me what the name on the shaft was?
No.
Okay.
Fun fact, if you use...
And you can't read Elvish, can you?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned the name.
If used...
Or anything about there being names on the arrows, I've just not said that.
Okay.
Fun fact, the adamantine tip is especially effective when used to break objects. It does double damage against... it's a critical hit when it hits any sort of object or structure. And I will say, house ruling for the purposes of this, it is able to bypass the resistance of creatures that are resistant to piercing non-magical damage.
Okay.
Okay.
Not that any of us shoot arrows, but...
Yeah. But if need be, you could stab with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could use it as a tool rather than as a weapon, specifically.
Yeah. How old does it look?
Again, you'd say, like, more based on the style of and the fashion of it, 400-500 years. It's being made of adamantium. Like, the wood might have been replaced, but the core shaft, like the arrowhead itself and part of the shaft have not rusted or degraded since the day it was forged.
When she turns around the shaft and reads the name, Celestia's going to kind of like put it down like she doesn't want to touch it. Where did your friend say she got this exactly?
DM,
did she actually mention it?
No, she didn't. She didn't say. She
Right.
just treated it. She just said it was a little curious piece.
All right. Corzin says she didn't say, but she's the sort of person who just picks up all sorts. You saw that cart of hers.
Yes, but this is like 400 years old and pretty niche, for want of a better word.
Wonder how it made it up onto the surface.
Don't know.
It's drow, though, so I don't mean to be insensitive, but you wouldn't happen to know where in the Underdark it might have come from, or who specifically made it.
This came from very powerful people.
Right.
And people not to be messed with.
I think
It's also
think
about
it-
500 years old. So I don't know how a person would have got it.
Well, I do happen to know that elves live for quite a long time.
Well, yeah, we all know that. But this is like, 3 or 4 generations of elves. So it's made of adamantium, that's why it doesn't look old. That metal doesn't age, it's a thing.
Well, I think I'll hang on to this if you don't mind. And he puts it back into his
Yeah,
pack.
I wouldn't flash that about.
Not intending to,
Good.
but
yeah,
thank you.
You keep hold of it. It's alright. If we ever come across that friend of yours again, I've got some questions for her.
Oh, I dare say we will at some point. She gets about a bit, you know.
She looked like the type.
So, you finish your rest, and if you wish,
Finish our pipes.
try and finish your pipes. Finish your rest.
Okay. Serious mechanics question.
Yeah.
Double drunk effect. What? I'm hungover, right? So you
Yes.
said that if I have coffee, I'm fine, but then if I have a short rest, it kills the coffee, so I have a
Yes.
level of exhaustion. But I've had opium, so
The opium.
Celestia's
the
body
opium-
is going through some shit.
the
What's
opium
happening?
I'm going to say, we're not getting too many negative effects. I'm just going to say you've still got the exhaustion level.
okay,
So
cool.
you-
But
yeah.
I've also got the temporary hit points from the
You've got
opium.
temporary hit points from the opium.
So
but-
mechanically, just disadvantage on ability checks.
Yes.
Cool.
Actually, what I could do is during the short rest, I'm going to expend one of the doses of the healer's kit so that we all get the maximum amount of hit points we can
Yes.
regain.
So it's 1 dose per person that you use it on.
Right, okay, so I've got 7 left.
Yeah.
So-
everyone gets an extra 6 hit points. Sorry, it's
Or if
D6
you
hit points.
Prefer, I could do a Song of Rest.
You can actually do both.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
extra 2d6?
Yeah, as long as you spend a hit die.
Yeah, I'll do
I
a
already
Song of
did
Rest.
that.
Celestia's what can Celestia sing a song about? Celestia's going to sing a song about about a sort of Robin Hood type figure firing arrows through the forest, and his arrows always find their target. It's quite it's quite a
Yeah,
cheerful
you feel
one.
invigorated.
Yeah.
okay, well, Corzin on his just regular hit die rolled a 9, so I only need an extra 1. And I'm back to full. Yep.
One of my d6 got me back to full. I have so few hit points.
I still am not at full.
Oh dear.
After 3d6.
You know,
Wow.
it's a good thing that we did this, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, so if I use the 3 doses...
Yeah.
Right, cool.
You can always buy more in town, or you can forage for pieces if you find yourself outside civilization.
That's probably what I'm going to do, actually, when I get the opportunity, is I'm going to forage.
Okay.
I mean, we've got money now.
Yeah. But no, this is special stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so no.
What?
I'm not going to suggest that. I was considering the possibility, like, arguably you could probably buy some opium off Calcinea.
I was considering it, I'll be honest. Like, fuck it, let's do it.
Actually, I'll tell you what, though, that would actually be useful and beneficial to both us and the rest of the crew is put the quartermaster in touch with this fine young gentleman here, and maybe we can do a deal that will help us replenish our medical stocks.
This is actually a fair point.
Like
yeah,
literal medical opium.
Yeah. Like,
oh, Celestia was just going to buy like a whatever kind of bag they sell it in for herself. Calcium. I like these surface herbs. How much for a little bit if you're selling? If you're not, fine too.
well, since you're dealing with me, it's a fair bit cheaper than if you were bought it officially. So,
Mate rates, you're a gentleman and a scholar.
You are a gentleman and a scholar.
a dose like the one I've given you, it is actually on the street. It would be worth 5 gold pieces, but 2/3 of that are tax. So let's call it 2.
2, okay.
Yeah, this is the GM balancing D6 temporary hit points anytime you want,
Yeah,
any short rest you want, with monetary costs
So 2.
per dose.
Would you be up for selling 5 doses, or is that too much?
Happily, he takes his
Fantastic.
knife and he cuts off the from the brick.
Gonna buy some drugs.
An appropriate amount of opium, and sort of slices it in and cuts it into 5 portions for you.
Oh,
And
Celestia
says,
needs a pipe. We're gonna get a pipe
like-
soon.
Keep that one. It's fine. I have more.
Are you sure?
Yes, not a
Thank
problem. You know what? Keep all of your pipes.
Dear listeners, we at Flintlocks and Fireballs do not condone the purchasing of hard drugs. We do, however, find it hilarious.
Only in character drugs should be done, children.
We feel
And
like
children should not even
children
do
should not be doing
And
this.
in character,
Yeah.
even children
Children
shouldn't do
shouldn't
them.
be doing
Even if the
this.
children are like 27 in real life.
Yeah. we feel it important to note here that the ready supply of actually very legal opium is more a reflection of the time period in which this is taking place. At a time when smuggling opium was less to do with its illegality and more to do with evading high tariff rates.
Yeah.
God.
Isn't history fun, kids?
History is so fun.
So,
Let's get high all the
Sorry,
time.
we'll carry on.
Casimir says, yes, I will make a word with... I will have a word with your quartermaster, see if we can replenish some of your supplies. Okay, so you finish your short rest.
Yeah, I tell him
Back your
to
pipes.
go to the Charlie's Regret and ask for... I do have this name. Hedwig Solder.
Yeah. Solder, I will look into that. Okay, fair warning from the GM. Don't... until I can figure out what the side effects are, I'm just going to say don't have more than 1 dose in between long rests.
Fair do.
Cool. Yeah. Because there must be a consequence.
Oh yeah,
obviously,
yeah. You shouldn't take too much of this stuff. I think it's probably going to be con save or unconsciousness for some time.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Opium's
given that
sounds
it's
about
opium,
right. Yeah.
most likely, the immediate side effect would be falling into a long poppy sleep. But I'll balance that in between episodes.
Fair do.
Okay, so you make your So what do you guys want to do then?
Let's go find a flagpole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Given, I guess, how brazenly do you want to walk in towards the harbour? Like, how much do you trust that you haven't been seen?
I'm going to actually wait until night.
Yeah, I'm going to take off my disguise, obviously,
Okay.
take off my makeup,
Disguise.
and take off the cloak, actually, and just, bundle it up in a bag.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until night, put it up, and
you
then just leave it there for the morning.
Fair enough. If you guys want to,
Nice, like
if you
early
guys
hours
want
of the
to
morning
wait
kind of
until night, then you can actually have a long rest. If you
Should we
unless
do
you got
that?
anything
Yeah.
else
That'd
to
be
do.
really nice.
Yeah. Okay. You long rest. Your
Wouldn't mind
exhaustion
my
level
spells
goes away
back.
after you just basically camp out in the safe house for the
I
rest
assume
of
our
the day.
temporary hit points from the opium are
Yeah.
gone.
Temporary hit points from the opium are gone.
What's my spells?
And after spending a couple of hours there, Casimir and Lucia make their way, but not before Lucia tells you where to find the skiff they have moored up. As you're kind of resting, it does occur to you, looking at your map that was scrawled out by the cartographer of the surrounding area. So long as you stuck to the coasts, which you would need to do with a skiff like this, it's not really built for cross-sea travel, you could get to Slavitska's Isle in a day.
Oh, so we've got a week to play with and we could get to Slavitska's Isle.
Yeah.
How many competent sailors does it take to sail this thing?
I'm going to say it's a smuggler's craft, so you could do it with the three of you.
Yep.
I mean, me and Scamp are rubbish. It's going to be very,
Skiffs
very
are not
funny.
very big. If Corzin, as the experienced mariner here,
Kind of supervise the other two.
yeah,
Just told us what to do, flat out.
Yeah. Then like it's designed to be manned by few people, to have a low profile, and essentially to be able to make its way along coast and not deep water to convey various smuggled goods.
Nice.
does it have a name?
Something this small? Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Give me a moment.
Okay.
The Kipper.
The Kipper.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a good name.
So you wait until nightfall.
It says on the way there, can I have the codpiece? Do you need the codpiece? We're going to have it.
Yeah, you know what? Have it. Yeah, it's the other parts that are going to be. They're going to flap about in the wind more readily anyway.
I think the codpiece is the least of his worries, if I'm honest. Also, I have plans for this codpiece.
He kind of looks sidelong at you like.
Not plans that you couldn't talk about in broad daylight in front of a child. Fine. Nothing shady.
What? What is this thing?
Require a midnight blue leather codpiece.
Yay.
What's it for?
It's for fishing.
It's really big. You could keep lots of stuff in it.
Yes, that's why it's for fishing. You catch the fish with it.
Yeah, it's where you keep your fishing
Cod.
pole.
Specifically.
Does it smell of fish?
I wouldn't smell it. It might smell like horrible, horrible fish, yes. Cestia's just going to put it in a bag whilst laughing at Corsin's fish line comment, because that was brilliant. Yeah, it's where you keep your rod. Anyway, let's go.
It's not big enough for that.
Let's go and put the harbour master's clothes up on the thing.
Yeah, so judging from the codpiece, you're not that impressed by the size of Ancra's tackle.
Oh god, how many fishing puns?
Oh, so many.
Fishing puns for days.
Sadly, we are falling for them hook, line and sinker.
So is it, have we waited for night already? Has that happened also?
Night has come.
Yeah.
So you're easily able to steal out towards the docks with your cargo
So here for this.
prepared. I'm going to say there's a few of the pious standing watch around the harbour master's office. They look furious.
I'm sure they do. As we're
Yeah,
walking
they're
along the
pissed.
pontoon, can I see if I can remember where it was that I sawed the beam out?
I'm going to say you easily can, and you can see where a replacement beam has been. It's just a little newer looking than the others, has been placed over that.
I indicate downwards to the other two. I go, that one there. Sploosh.
Go away. Perfect.
Okay, the flagpole is on top of the harbour master's office.
All right.
Can say, how do you want to try and get up there?
What sort
How
of
many
building?
people around?
Yeah.
It's the harbour master's office is basically, the office itself is actually on top of a gantry over a large warehouse type building for seized and various waiting goods. But there is there's a staircase up to it. And the roof itself is probably about 40 feet up, and the flagpole is on top of the roof.
Okay.
There is a sort of ladder up to the top from within the office, or you could conceivably try to get there from a nearby building.
Okay.
Are there any drain
pious-
pipes I could climb up?
Oh, luck check. There is.
Ah.
All
It's
right.
a long one, but it is. With a stealth check, you'd be able to make it without the pious out front noticing you.
Right. I asked the others, right, okay. You guys stay here. Make sure they don't move. They look like they've had a bit of a day of it already. Now, I'm going to climb up the drain pipe here, and I'm going to go across the roof, lower down the flag, put this the clothing over the top of the flag, and then just raise the whole lot back up.
Okay.
I'll be ready to make a distraction.
Yeah, we'll get distractions ready.
Right, you are.
Okay.
And he sort of makes the A-OK sign and takes the remainder of the gimp suit, puts it in his backpack, and starts working his way slowly up the drain pipe.
Okay. Make a stealth check first of all, please, to approach the drain pipe without being too noticed.
That's not great. That's a 7.
Okay, as you're making your way towards the pipe, one of the pious kind of peers into the darkness.
As soon
who
as he
goes there?
starts reacting, can
Yeah.
I cast Minor Illusion?
Yeah, what do you cast?
I am going to cast the sound of Fighty's voice singing very loudly from the other direction about how all the pious are idiots.
Oh, have you heard the tale or two about those pious fools? They often like to fall over all their stupid rolls. They make a deception check, please.
Oh, not great. 14?
It's enough. They turn, and you can see one of them has a black eye in the moonlight. Like, that fucking gnome! And they both stride off.
Okay, that was brilliant.
Roll an athletics check.
I actually said that to you in character, though. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
Yes.
like, rhyming that quickly, I wish I could do that.
Yes, it was all me.
Roll an athletics check.
It was a very good improvised song. Well done.
It was great.
Athletics check, please.
Athletics, right. Okay, that's a 13.
It takes a long while, and you actually have to take a break halfway through. It's like clamber. By the time you get to the top, your arms are just like are burning. But
Well, he's only small. He's like, it's probably
Yeah.
going to be really difficult actually for him to reach from one rung on the drain pipe to the other. He's having to basically shin up this thing very,
yeah,
very
you are
slowly.
shimmying up this lead
So
drain pipe.
tiny.
At one point, there's at one point, like when you're about halfway up, rain starts to fall as well. Like just starts to come out. There's a passing shower which is next to the pipe. You can feel water gushing down it before you finally make it to the top.
All right.
The shower ends not long after as well.
Just as the shower hits, Corzin does a kind of half turn, looks straight into camera with the sort of forlorn expression, like really, and carries on.
As you're doing this, Corzin, you see there is, and Celestia, you can see this looking at this, there is a shimmer around the bottom of the drain pipe, and then slowly cycling its way up, you can see the form of the rainbow spirit just following Corzin and kind of seeming to observe this curiously.
Okay, how tall is this building?
Like I said, the roof is about 40 feet up.
Okay, right, so just to remind our viewers at home, or our listeners rather, Corzin is 2'10". So
This is a lot of Corzins tall.
Yeah.
so yeah, he's just climbed many, many, many times his height.
Can we see Corzin doing this?
Yeah, it's
From
like
where we are?
15 times your height.
Yeah. I was going to wait for
you
someone
guys-
who was
you guys
better
are
at maths
watching.
than me to do that.
Yeah. I kind of I lean over to Scamp and go, maybe I should have climbed. I mean, it's a long way for him, isn't it?
Maybe.
Nah,
Keep
he
an
looks
eye out
fine.
Keeping an eye out for the guards coming back.
Yeah, same.
By the time Corzin has got to the top, you can see the two pious returning. Couldn't find the little bugger.
Again, the sound of him laughing in the distance, but from a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me another distraction check, please.
That's 25.
Oh, you thought you found me, didn't you? Over here. Look, it's got to be a trick. It's got to be a trick. Oh, I'm sure it's a trick. I'm not really here. I'm just throwing my voice. That's it. Then charge off in the other direction.
Alright, so I go over...
I ruffle Scamp's hair, like, yes.
So I go over to the bottom of the flagpole.
You can see there's the bright sort of blue and yellow flag with the sort of almost like ancient structure of a barn depicted on the bright Hallish flag.
Right.
The sunrise behind.
Okay. Now, I'm going to do this specifically so that on one side, it's like the executioner's mask with the tail sort of flapping out ahead of it, and on the other side,
flapping, didn't you?
Flapping, yes.
Yeah.
What did you think I said?
Worst word you could have used.
And on the other side is the gag and the other accoutrement.
Yep, and the harness. Do you put the midnight blue cloak up there as well?
Oh yes. In fact,
Yeah.
just one quick thing before I put the midnight blue cloak up there.
Yeah.
I'm going to examine it. What is it made out of? Leather?
I'd rather it's made out of. It's made out of kind of quite a fine blue cotton. I'm going to say rather than leather.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, wait. No, did I say the executioner's hood was made out of leather? No, then it is. It is.
Yeah, you did say the thing was
Yeah.
made
No,
out of
no, it's made out of leather as well. Then.
All right.
It's a cloak.
Yeah, it's midnight blue leather.
Like shiny leather? Like, what kind of leather are we talking? Oh,
Creak,
God.
creak, creak, creak. Okay, yeah.
Scamp literally has no idea what's happening right now.
So basically, I'm going to do it so that it obscures either side of the flag's face.
Yep.
So anyone looking at it is going to see that. And just for good measure, do I have any chalk or writing material of any kind with me?
I'm going to say, yeah, like, given that you planned this, you could have easily found some chalk beforehand.
Right, okay. Then on the inside of the cloak, I'm going to write in very big letters. Oh yeah. Regent save the pious. Underlined.
Oh. Yes.
Nice.
Okay, and I sort of slowly. I mean, if there's any wind, it doesn't matter. But I slowly raise.
You kind of finish it. And
I tell you what. No, what I'll do. I'll put it at half mast.
Yeah. You put it at half mast. As you step back to admire your handiwork, the rainbow spirit flickers around the pole for a moment, and a gust of wind raises up and blows it out in its full glory, so you can admire it.
Wonderful.
Corzin grins
Have
like
your
a
little pride flag.
yeah.
Aw. I'm glad the rainbow spirit's supportive of his kinks. That's nice.
Yeah. We shouldn't kink shame people.
We shouldn't, but it's also very funny because he's not a nice
Yes.
man.
Yes.
To put his gimp suit flapping in
Yes.
the wind.
If he wasn't such a hypocrite, it would be
It
fun.
would be so fun.
Yeah, well, that is the entire purpose of this exercise. It's not that he does these things that's the problem. It's that he tells other people they
isn't
shouldn't.
Yeah.
As you tackle yourself and make your way down, I need another athletics check as you make your way down the 40-foot high drain pipe.
All right, come on, Corzin, don't fuck this up. All right, that's a. Oh no, that's a 16.
Okay, you shimmy your way back down,
Shimmy.
as once again these two very you hit the ground just as these two exasperated-looking pious make their way back down, back in.
It's so tempting.
They're like,
Just for fun.
fuck it, can't be real. So I'm tired of this shit. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong voice. I'm tired of this shit.
Just very low, but just so they can hear it, like sniggering. Just his voice sniggering again from a different direction.
Okay, because it's 3 times in a row, this time you make a deception check with disadvantage because they're a bit wise to
Yeah.
this.
Very funny, though.
22.
Oh my god!
22.
Robbie just rolled a 15 and a 19.
They turn back and this time there's actual haunted fear in their eyes. They draw their weapons. Oh, fuck it! And charge off.
I love shit.
Okay.
As you return, Corzin, the rainbow spirit, which seems to have been observing this, comes back down. It briefly passes along Scamp's shoulders, although Scamp, you're completely unaware of this, before kind of moving over your group for a moment and then deciding, after some consideration, to start following Celestia.
Oh, the rainbow spirit.
Yeah,
Oh.
Can Celestia see that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Celestia can see
I go,
this.
hello.
Rainbow spirit sort of flutters like
It's
a flag.
another
in the wind.
octopus.
I fiddle about with it with my fingers, like
Yeah.
I'm sort of stroking it like a little
Yeah.
cat. Oh no, this one's a rainbow.
You're all crazy.
Would we
Yeah, I'm
know
still not
what
gonna
causes
explain this
us
to
to
you.
be
Yeah.
able to see these, and what and why Scamp can't?
Make a religion check.
Okay. Oh, that's a. Hang on. Oh, that's a. Yeah, 7. No.
No.
It seems to boil down to you just can, as far as you know.
And we know we're not crazy because somebody else can see them.
it.
Yep.
Also, you have seen spirits your whole lives.
Yeah.
But
This is not new.
Okay, you make your way. So yes, you with your deed done and just seeing for a few moments reflected in the moon before the spirit-infused wind dies away, the most admirable gimp flag flying above the harbour master's office.
It's a pretty suit.
Yeah.
Yes, for fancy dress.
I like fancy dress.
Good. That one. That's just gonna leave.
Can we see the Harbour Master's office from the deck of the Charlie's Regret?
Yeah,
Yes,
can
you
we just sit and
Yes, you
watch?
can.
Like it's like just sit with our legs dangling over the edge, watching the chaos.
Waiting for the sun to
Okay,
come.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
sit,
exactly
you wait
what
for the sun
Corzin's gonna
rise, And as dawn comes, the little rainbow spirit leaves your shoulders for a little bit. With the coming of dawn, you can see the docks beginning to surge back into business. You know, the festival day before gone, and just as the sun is now clearly has just risen to the point where it clearly the lights, the golden rays are just hitting the top of the harbour master's office. The pair of you can just see a faint flicker of rainbow light, and a wind blows, and the flag unfurls.
Incredible.
And they suddenly you start to see people look up and then double take, and you can just hear the distant sounds of clamouring and what the fuck, and you can just see as the form of Harbour Master Anchor is already on his way into work, stops, looks up, and you can just hear from across the harbour, Horhace! And I can't think of a better note to end it on.
Yeah, I think that.
Thank you all for listening. Once again, farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, Fair Seas and Natural 20s.
When thieves are seeking for your loot, be sure to conceal your gimp suits. We'll fill out pipes and take a drag, then raise a rather risque flag.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.